There we go. Sorry, fellas. Forgot to activate the webcam, which is a pretty crucial part of streaming. I've heard. Here we go. I saw someone. I think it was clickbait. Ask how much coffee I've had today. Just a little. Had my morning cup, and I'm having a little bit now because we're just getting started this evening. I just pushed out a LeBron video, and as soon as I'm done with this stream, I'm gonna start cranking out some videos about a lot more free agent deals that went down tonight that I wasn't expecting. So yes, cheers on the coffee this evening. It's 1 a.m. here, but I don't care, dude. Like I'm ready. I'm here for all this stuff. I wasn't expecting this much stuff to happen tonight. I keep my watch is going crazy. The T-Wolves just told Jimmy Butler they're off him a 4-year max when he's eligible to re-sign. There's so much going on, but I'm here for all of it. So lots of coffee. Doc, I am wearing the same clothes I was wearing earlier, but no, I was not in my jammies, as you say. I was sitting here grinding out content for you guys to just put it out. My eyes aren't that red. It's just I just rubbed them. That's all. Whew. I'm ready though. I'm here for all this. I live for this stuff. Like as much attention as I pay to the NBA and as much as I find it interesting, like this kind of stuff going down and all this stuff happening, I live for this stuff. And it's awesome that there's so many people here to watch the stream at what is at my time 1 a.m. I didn't know if anybody was going to be able to watch, but I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces and names, and I appreciate you guys coming out. So let's talk about it, man. So I kind of had been getting the feeling the last couple of days with how aggressive the Lakers were getting in trying to trade for Kawhi. I was getting the feeling that they weren't that confident that Paul George was going to sign with them. But I didn't think that he was going to decide like tonight. Like I thought he was at least going to play it out a little bit. Like I thought apparently Russ like flew from a family vacation to get to this party in Oklahoma City. So I thought, okay, this is like a last minute thing. This wasn't planned. Like this is like a last minute ditch effort to try and convince Paul George at the start of free agency to sign with them. But apparently it's like a celebration party. There's like OKC executives there. Russ is there. I'd love to have like a Snapchat feed of that right now. But I guess he just already had decided. I mean, all these features coming out on ESPN, all these rumors that for the years that he was going to sign with LA. I turned off subscriber alerts, Streamlabs. I swear. I'm just going to turn those off. Anyway, all this stuff about the last few years that Paul George is going to go to LA, and I'm thinking this entire offseason telling Oklahoma City fans like just accept it, like he's not coming back. And he is. Like I guess he looked at it and he said, "Hey, like instead of going to LA to potentially play with Bron and Kawhi, I'm going to go back to Oklahoma City and play with Russ." And everything that I read on Twitter basically said that it came down to just his connection with Russ. Like they really built a bond, and he didn't want to, he didn't want to go back on that. So he just decided to come back. Now I will say it is it's a 2-in-2 deal. So he has a player option after the second year. So it's not like he's signing a 5-year max or anything, but he's going to be there for at least 2 years. And I was not ready for that. I turned off the alert box because I keep telling it not to do it when people subscribe and only do it for like donos and stuff. So it's not going off all the time. And it wasn't listening. So I just turned it off. So hopefully that's not an issue. My watch, I'm going to take my watch off because it's going to be going off the whole time. My phone's going nuts. It's going to be crazy. But like I said, I'm here for all of it. I'm here. Yeah, gosh. Matthew, your squad just added a top 5 center, Ed Davis. Let's go. Big signing for the Nets. Joe Harris and Ed Davis joining the squad. Good day to be a Nets fan, man. Good day to be a Nets fan. This is about how free agency goes for us every year. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. Everybody type in chat for me where you guys are watching from. Like I said, I always do this. I'm always curious. I'm assuming most of you are either on the West Coast or you're not in the States because, like I said, it's 1 a.m. for me. So you're either amped on coffee like I am, or you're on the West Coast or you're not in the States. No, I'm not saying anything bad about Ed Davis. It's just funny that Matthew's comment was funny. New York, Kentucky. That's actually where my father's from, Kentucky. Kansas City, California, Wisconsin, Connecticut, Jersey, Greece. Oh my gosh, this is going crazy. New York, North Dakota, Akron, Ohio. Big night for you, bud. Oh my gosh. So many different places. Singapore. Okay, actually a lot of people from the States. I expected this to be a very EU or international stream, which there are. There are definitely people. Someone, Argentina. Gotcha. Cool, cool, cool. Like I said, I'm just curious. Big shout out. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out a little bit so we can talk about all the craziness, with free agency. When someone said my bedroom. I did push out the LeBron video, and I apologize. Normally on stream, I'm not on my phone very much, but obviously this is an exception. With everything going on, I want to make sure I'm kind of up to date on everything. Man, there's just so many things to talk about. I want to make sure I'm doing this kind of literally so I can get through everything in my mind. So the other one, I guess, is Chris Paul. And I think we all thought, that he was going to end up in Houston. It was just kind of like, is he going to end up being there for 2 years or 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Is it going to be a max? And it ends up being a 4-year 160 max, straight up max. I don't think there's been any options reported in it. I think it's just a straight up max, which to me is a little bit long still. I mean, he's going to be 30. I think he's going to be 34, 35 the last year of that deal. But if you're Houston, it's kind of a deal you have to make. You have to bring back Chris Paul. He's going to be a max guy. So, I mean, whether it's 3 years or 4 years, you can't really do a ton about that. I would imagine they're going to bring back Clint Capella as well on whatever deal he ends up with. But one of the big competitors for Clint Capella was supposed to be the Suns, and the Suns just got Trevor Ariza on a 1-year 15, which I was not expecting. So maybe that lightens the market a little bit for Capella, makes it a little bit easier for them to bring him back. But I wasn't surprised that Chris Paul came back this evening. I just didn't expect maybe for it to be a 4-year max. I thought maybe a 3-year max or some options in there, which there might be some options that I'm not aware of. But yeah, clickbait is coffee or energy drinks. Coffee for me, bud. I honestly couldn't tell you if I've ever had a Monster or Red Bull or anything like that. It's not an energy drink guy, definitely a coffee guy. Yeah, Nino's asking how the CP3 deal is going to affect the Rockets roster, especially Capella. I mean, the Rockets still have the rights to Capella. They can still re-sign him to whatever they want. Like, it's not like signing Chris Paul is like they can't bring back Capella as well. They did lose Trevor Ariza, like I said, this evening, which is a huge piece for them. Especially when you're trying to beat a team like the Warriors, you need plenty of wings, guys that can shoot and defend. Trevor Ariza is definitely one of those guys. So losing him is tough, but I would imagine they're still going to be able to bring back Capella, and then they're just going to have to get creative on how to replace Ariza, or maybe make a trade for somebody or use the taxpayer mid. Will they be taxpayer mid-level? So we'll see. My phone will not relax. Yeah, so Savior says, hey, Logic, why are you Nets fans? You become a fan of them during New Jersey days or the pre-King days? For me, it was, we talked about this a little bit on stream before, so I'm going to go quickly through this. I became a Nets fan because it was back when Jason Kidd and Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson were there. That's when I first started getting into the NBA, and I just loved those teams. So I've just been a Nets fan ever since. And I'm from North Carolina, so I could have been a Hornets fan, but I don't know, just the Nets fan. Always have been. Yeah, I mean, they still have, someone's asking about PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker's on a long-term deal. He's still there. And Mbah Moute, I think, might be on a 1-year. Gerald Green's on a 1-year, unless he's re-signing tonight. But, I mean, Trevor Ariza is definitely a big loss for them. Yeah, so the New Jersey days. Yeah, Savior. Doc, is he actually? I haven't gotten anything about Gerald Green, Doc. So I did see Dog said Bellinelli to the Spurs. I saw that, which is interesting. So Ilyasova and Bellinelli are already gone. I mean, I've talked about, potentially them having to. I'm sorry, but I've talked about potentially them having to, let both of those guys walk in order to bring in someone like LeBron or Paul George potentially. But those guys have already found deals. I mean, Ersan Ilyasova, Marco Bellinelli are both gone. Ersan to Milwaukee, Bellinelli to the Spurs. It's always funny to me too how like there's all these rules against like tampering. You're not supposed to talk to these guys before a certain time. And then all these deals are just in place suddenly. Like it's just funny that all the workarounds these guys go through to have these deals in place so quickly. But I did see Bellinelli and I did see Ilyasova both being gone. It's interesting. Bellinelli got what? 2 over 11, 2-year 12, and I'm going through my notifications here. What did Bellinelli get? Or excuse me, Ilyasova get? He got more than that. He got like 3 years, 18 or something with the Bucks, which is his former team, which is strange. Yeah, so the other big one, let's talk about DeAndre Jordan. So, obviously the most important thing is that I'm now 1 for 1 on Free Agent Fridays because I said DeAndre was going to sign with the Mavs. So, that's really all there is to talk about. But seriously, I expected DeAndre to sign with the Mavs even weeks ago. That video is pretty old compared to, where we are now. But I didn't expect the 1 year 24. And that really surprised me. I think at the time I predicted like a 3-year 60 just to give him some long-term security because I assumed that if he was going to opt out, he was going to do so with long-term security in mind. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently he just basically wanted the option. He just declined. He just really wanted to play with the Mavs. And it's just funny how things have kind of come full circle from him almost signing with the Mavs a few years ago to now, being a piece of that team that could potentially push them over the top into being a playoff team. So like I said, I expected this weeks ago, and I expected this, especially leading the last couple of days, either via trade or free agency. But the 1 year 24 is really interesting to me. I don't know if we have any Mavs fans in the chat. I don't know what you guys think about it. It's definitely interesting. Definitely interesting to me. Yeah, so Turbo says, talk about the Suns. I now have 4 small forwards on the roster. It's really just about having wings. Like TJ Warren could play the 4, Josh Jackson could play the 4, Trevor Ariza could play the 4, meaning like spreading the floor on the perimeter. There's really no difference in a lot of these offenses now between a 2, a 3, and a 4 in terms of their positioning offensively, just whether they have the ball in their hands or not. So I don't think that it's a bad thing that they have so many wings, TJ Warren, Josh Jackson, Bridges, and then now Ariza. I just don't understand spending. Someone said breaking DJ signed a 5-year, $205 million contract with the Clippers. Oh, deja vu. I just don't understand the Suns spending $15 million for 1 year of Trevor Ariza unless they're just that desperate to make the playoffs. He's a good player and he's definitely going to help them, but how much cap space do they have left? It can't be a lot. And I thought they were in play for a lot of other guys, maybe, any number of players. Obviously, they have Ayton now, so they're not really players for Capella, but I thought that there were other guys they were keying in on other than Ariza. And I'm also surprised that Ariza did not go for a longer deal similar to DeAndre Jordan. He took a 1 year deal, which, could be maybe the norm this offseason because guys know that this offseason, there's not a ton of cap space available, so if they can get a big deal and then have a good season and re-enter the market next year, the following, when maybe more teams have space, then maybe that'll make sense. So maybe that's their mindset. Maybe we'll see more of those because, like I said, we've already seen DeAndre and Ariza sign for a combined almost $40 million between the two of them, each on 1 year deals. So maybe that's the norm this summer. Maybe that's the way guys are working around teams not having as much cap space. And I think you're seeing that also with Paul George taking a 2-2 deal where after the second year he can opt out and re-enter free agency when he's probably 30. How old is Paul George? Something around 30 to re-enter closer to his prime. So maybe that's what we're going to see a lot more this offseason is those shorter deals. It'd be interesting to see. You guys are killing me with some of these. You guys are killing me. I did see clickbait said do a 20. Was it clickbait or someone else said do a 24-hour stream? No thanks, my dude. I don't know how people do that. I don't know how. I mean, I'm gonna be up for a while. Like I'm gonna finish whenever stream's over. I don't know when. If stuff keeps happening, we might keep it rolling for a couple hours, and then as soon as that's over, I'm gonna start cranking out videos on this stuff. Tucker, what if LA gets no one? The thing is, if they get no one, they're not going to have no one next off season. Like they're getting Kawhi, whether they trade for him this summer, they sign him next year. But I mean, the PG thing, along with apparently reports that I'm getting, on my phone during this, that the Lakers are not aggressively pursuing Kawhi, makes me think maybe it's Cleveland and Philly. I don't know. Things change so much, and that's why it's so difficult to put videos out, and it's so much easier to do live streams this time of year because things change so quickly. But with PG going back to OKC, if the Lakers don't sign Kawhi, I mean, I don't see how they get Bron unless he just really wants to play with Boogie, right? Like, I mean, Boogie could be in play now for the Lakers more than ever without PG and potentially without Kawhi if they don't trade for him. So they potentially could get nobody, but if they get nobody this summer, they're getting Kawhi next summer, in my opinion. So it's a possibility, though. It is a possibility they don't get anybody, which for Lakers fans, that's got to be really tough. I appreciate all you guys being here. Like I said, though, I mean, this is an all-time high viewership for us on stream, and I really appreciate it. All the questions are awesome. Talk about all this stuff is awesome, and I'm glad you guys enjoy this stuff as much as I do, and I'm not, the biggest NBA nerd. I know that all of you guys are enjoying this too. Yeah, Jason, I saw that. It says, I'm listening to some Drake in my headphones. I can't play it for you guys because YouTube will crush me with copyright. Jason says, but Boogie is very likely to sign with the Pelicans. I saw that, but I mean, if you're the Lakers and you really want to get someone this summer, you probably could get Boogie. I think that they just probably haven't had a ton of discussions about it because it's been all about Kawhi, PG, and Bron, but maybe they could show up late and try and get Boogie, or within the next hour, Boogie could re-sign. But it seems like maybe the Pelicans have come around a little bit on offering Boogie a max, which, could potentially help them. Thank you, Hoop Trooper. Thank you. That's really kind of you to say, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That's an interesting point. Mike says, do you think George's decision to stay in OKC could show Boston they have a chance of retaining Kawhi next summer if they pull the trigger on him now? That's a really interesting point, Mike, because obviously at the time that OKC traded for Paul George, it wasn't really a destination that he had in mind in free agency, I would assume. Like in the features, it said that OKC wouldn't have gotten a free agent meeting more than likely this summer, obviously unless they had traded for him. And we all went into this summer thinking there's no way PG is going to end up signing, re-signing with OKC, but it ended up happening just because he built such a strong bond apparently with Russ, and what we thought was a foregone conclusion ended up not being so. And that's a really interesting point. Now, I don't know that necessarily correlates because I think Kawhi's desire to go to LA and his disdain for the Spurs is probably higher than Paul George's desire to go to LA at the time and his disdain for the Pacers. But I definitely see your point, and it's not an invalid one at all. Hold on, guys. I want to check and make sure the video's doing okay. Sorry. What did Derrick Rose sign for? I did see that, Bren. I saw that he re-signed. What did he sign for? How much? I'm sure it's a minimum. Sure, it's the minimum. I don't know. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it for D Rose to continue to try and rebuild his career, and he did some good things for them in the postseason. So it's probably a good move for both sides. 2.1, yeah. I mean, getting a guy that cheap, it's never really a bad thing, right? Like, it can't really be a bad move for the T-Wolves unless Derrick Rose just causes a ton of issues for their team or something out of nowhere. So it's a good move for both sides for D Rose to continue to try and build himself back up in an environment he's familiar with and with a coach he's familiar with. Definitely a good move. I don't know if I can trust any of you guys that you're putting in chat. I don't know if I can trust any of the things that you guys are telling me. I'm going to pull up Twitter and look on occasion. But I don't know. Some people might just be spamming stuff. There's videos going up of Paul George and Russ at this party too. The other one that I really want to talk about, is the Will Barton trade or Will Barton signing, because that was kind of the first one that broke, and it's 4 years, 50, which is 12 and a half a year, which is not an outrageous price by any means, but Jokic is also going to get a max. So basically, the Nuggets are saying this is the group we're rolling with to try and do whatever we want to do, whether it's make the playoffs, be a top 4 seed in the West, we reach the Western Conference Finals, whatever their goals are. They've decided that this group is going to be good enough to be able to make that happen, right? With Jamal Murray and Gary Harris and Paul Millsap and Jokic and Will Barton, all these guys, they're locked in. Like, they can't really do much else beyond trades. Like, in free agency, they're done. They got Millsap last year. They're going to be over the cap for the foreseeable future. And once Jokic signs his max, they're going to be pretty close to the luxury tax until 2020 when Paul Millsap's deal comes off. So they've just decided that this is what they want to do, right? Like, they want to roll with this group. And that's really interesting to me for a team that hasn't made the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs this past season with that group. It's very similar to Oklahoma City bringing back Paul George and paying the highest luxury tax bill in NBA history for a team that lost in the first round. It's like very similar in that the Nuggets are going to be paying a lot of money. They're going to be over the cap. They're going to be close to the luxury tax for a group that hasn't made the playoffs. I'm not saying it's a bad move. I'm not saying Will Barton's a bad player, nor that he doesn't deserve that money. It's just an interesting move in my eyes to so aggressively lock him in for a team that once again hasn't made the playoffs yet. They could 100% prove me wrong, but that was a very interesting move to happen so quickly and took one of the bigger kind of under the radar guys off the free agent market very, very quickly. My phone is freaking out. Let me see. Luciana says, do you think the Nuggets should get rid of Millsap's contract? Again, I was just looking at their contracts. I believe he has a player option in the summer of 2019, but he's going to accept it. It's like 30-something million. So I don't really think it's something they should look to get rid of because it's a very valuable player. Paul Millsap is a very good player. He missed a lot of games, obviously, but this past season, he's a very good player, someone that they definitely should look to keep. Again, it's just they're going to be locked into that group, and they've got to hope that Porter Jr. develops and Gary Harris and Jamal Murray continue to develop, and things like that. Another interesting point that Wyatt brings up, he says, Tucker, what teams do you see taking a stab at Jabari Parker with the Bucks signing Ersan to that deal? That was something that I didn't think about at the time. That signing Ersan is kind of like an insurance policy against Jabari potentially leaving or getting a huge deal. That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Now, that's not to say that that's necessarily the case, that they're signing Ersan just to guard against Jabari potentially leaving, but it does say that maybe they're preparing for it. With teams like Indiana potentially having the space, I've read reports that the Magic are going to match any offer for Aaron Gordon, so maybe the Pacers are saying, if we can't get Aaron Gordon, let's try and take a stab at Jabari Parker. So I don't know which teams really could be in on that because there just hasn't been a ton of information about Jabari. Obviously, the Nets are always in play because they have a history of going after restricted free agents. But that's just an interesting point, Wyatt, bringing up that maybe signing Ersan is the first step in providing insurance against Jabari potentially leaving. I haven't seen anything about the Blazers now. Haven't seen anything. Sorry, guys. There's just a lot to read here. There's a lot to get through. Ed Davis to Nets thoughts. Trevor Ariza Suns 1 year 15. I saw that. Was Ariza overpaid? Any news from Indiana? Greetings from Lithuania. Appreciate it. I appreciate the love from Lithuania. Thank you. I don't know. So Ryan's asking about Aaron Gordon to the Pacers. Everything I'm reading says that the Magic are not going to give up Aaron Gordon for a $20 million deal. Like they'll re-sign him for that because again he's restricted. So Indiana's created all this cap space, but who are they going to spend it on? Now it's not to say that there aren't guys to spend it on. They definitely still need a point guard. There are guys they can spend their money on, but who it's going to be, I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know that the Sixers really let those guys leave. I think they just got really good deals. Like, there's no way. Like, let's say the Sixers gave those two guys those deals. That's 2 years over 11. That's 5.5. And I think Ilyasova's was 3 years over 18. I think. So that's six. That's $11.5 million of their cap space. Quick math. Yeah, $11.5 million of their cap space spent on those two guys. And, then that really, really constricts what they can do for the rest of the offseason. So I don't really necessarily know that they let them leave. I think they just got really good deals elsewhere that they couldn't do anything about. It's not like they're restricted. It's not like they have, the opportunity to really, match any of those offers. I think it's just those guys got good deals and they're not going to say no to them. I think, same thing with JJ Redick. If JJ Redick gets a big deal, he's going to take it too. So again, I don't think it was Philly letting those guys leave. I think they just, they're free agents. Like they have the right to sign anywhere, and Philly's going to be fine. Like they're going to have space to sign plenty of people. Plenty of people are going to be interested in playing there. So I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. That's true. Isn't Brett Brown making all the decision? Not all this. Isn't Brett Brown like the head personnel guy right now for Philly because of everything that's going on? D-Flow, what's up, bud? Good to see you. The Pacers, yeah. So we talked plenty about the Pacers. I mean, they've got two young bigs, right? They've got Miles Turner, they've got Sabonis. Oladipo is obviously very good. Thaddeus Young is back. They got rid of Lance to create cap space, and I think really they're looking at a wing, a four-man, or a point guard. It seems like Aaron Gordon was kind of their big target, and it doesn't really seem like they're going to get him. So Jabari Parker's in play. Obviously, their biggest need probably is the one, but I just don't know there's a lot of guys out there for them to be able to get. So they're going to be people to keep an eye on in the restricted free agent market. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes. The other guy that I want to talk about is Jeremy Grant, who is a player that I made a video or part of a video on talking about guys that could potentially, cash in on a big payday for their big postseason success. And Jeremy Grant is definitely one of those guys. And obviously, the Thunder are paying a lot of money to keep this group together. But bringing back Grant is the right decision. And it's on a pretty fair deal. I think it's 3 years, 18, which is right around what I said he could get. And there definitely were other teams interested in him. So for him to come back on that deal definitely helps them a lot. He's a guy that can do a lot of things for them. He can even play the 5 sometimes, protects the rim. Not a great shooter, but could develop into one. And is one of the few guys I have on the roster that has some upside left to be able to fulfill. So that's huge for them. I don't think Carmelo's going to get bought out as much as maybe you want him to. If you're a Thunder fan, I don't think he's going to get bought out. I don't think he's going to get traded. I think they're going to try and figure that situation out. He's got to come off the bench, but I don't know that they're ever going to be able to make that happen. But I think he's probably going to end up being on the Thunder roster moving forward. That's another thing, Mike. The Doc, I appreciate you coming out, bud. Thank you. Good to see you. 3 years, 27. My fault. 3 years, 27. Mike says Pacers declining Lance's deal just to get McDermott on a fully guaranteed contract annual of $7. That was surprising to me. I'd completely forgotten already with everything that's happening about the McDermott deal because, I mean, he can shoot the ball, but he wasn't a guy that I had high on my list of people that could potentially get paid. And it kind of seemed like you said, I mean, that Indiana was kind of getting ready to take a pretty big swing, right? And I didn't count McDermott as one. And if you're going to start declining options on guys that are on pretty good deals, like you said, Lance Stevenson, just to get guys like McDermott, that's definitely questionable, especially on the first night of free agency. And there's other guys that they were rumored to be going after. So that's a questionable move to me. But at the same time, I mean, everybody questioned the Paul George move at the time, and it turned out to work great for them. So maybe McDermott's going to play great in Indiana. But that's one that I forgot about, and I'm glad you brought that up. That's another thing that I got a notification basically as soon as stream started, about a half an hour ago, that Jimmy Butler, apparently the Wolves are basically telling him that they'll offer him the 4 year max once he's eligible, because he's a 2019 guy. So that's a really interesting, situation to develop, especially right in the middle of 2018 free agency, because the Timberwolves have a lot of potential to just completely blow up. Tibbs get fired, Wiggins get traded, Jimmy Butler leave. It seemed like they're an okay team on paper, but I wouldn't be shocked if everything just goes to crap tomorrow. They're not in a great place organizationally. Cat apparently was unhappy. Tibbs, could get fired as early as next summer. Like I said, Jimmy might not be the happiest with Wiggins. Wiggins might not be the happiest with Jimmy. Wiggins' contract is awful. He just can't seem to fulfill his potential. I would not want to be a Timberwolves fan right now. Let's just say that. I'm not a rapper. Neither am I. I'm not a rapper says Avery Bradley to Houston to replace Ariza. I don't know. I mean, can they get him for the taxpayer mid-level? Are they going to be... Well, actually, they won't be a tax team yet. But even if it's the non-taxpayer mid-level, could they get Avery Bradley for 8? I mean, maybe they could because of the Rockets and because they look to be, one of the better teams in their conference. Maybe they could get him for that low an amount. But, I mean, for them, ideally, they like to have a guy a little bit bigger, right? Because they want someone to, if you're talking about replacing Ariza, that guy that can play the 3-4-ish, be a little bit longer. Avery Bradley's a great defender, but he's not a long defender. And that's probably what they're looking for a little bit more. So I'd say probably no. But I also wasn't expecting them to lose Trevor Ariza this quickly. So Avery Bradley's definitely one to keep an eye on, though. Jack, where'd you get the Luka Mavs t-shirt? Hashtag not an ad. I just want to know where you got it from. D-Flow, I appreciate you being here, bud, because I know you're in the same time zone I am. So big commitment being up at 1:30 in the morning, bud. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so what do you mean? My shirt makes me think Singular Wolves. This is a NC State Wolfpack Intramural Championship shirt. So it's NC State, college I went to. Our intramural basketball team championship shirt. Dusted this one off for today. Don't judge me for wearing the same shirt in 2 different live streams, please. Paragon said, I just found out Jaleel Okafor is a free agent. What happened to him? Isn't it crazy? Justice Winslow had some good moments in the playoffs. But you could argue at points in the season that Tyus Jones was the best NBA player out of all three of those guys that came out of Duke that year, Justice Winslow, Jahlil Okafor, and Tyus Jones. And obviously, Justice Winslow is probably a better player than Tyus Jones. But it's just crazy that it was that close, that Jahlil Okafor has fallen that far, and Justice Winslow hasn't really fulfilled much so far either. So it's just crazy to think about. Cameron says, do you think Andrew Wiggins will be traded this offseason? I don't know about this offseason because I don't know that anybody really wants him that badly, but there's no way he stays with Minnesota for the life of his contract, right? Like it's just such a bad deal, and someone might gamble on his potential, but I doubt it. I think the Timberwolves are on the verge of just a complete disaster, especially if things don't go well this season. And him and Jimmy apparently have reportedly been having issues. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if things just hit the fan there. Brent, I did hear Aaron Baines going to the Celtics 2 years, 11. The tweet that I read, and it might have been Waj, it might have been someone else. The tweet that I read basically said that Aaron Baines' deal is going to get done quickly for the Celtics, and that that the Marcus Smart deal is expected to sign with the Celtics, but it might take a little bit longer than you would expect. But they do expect Marcus Smart to end up being a Celtic. Guys, we are very, very close to an all-time viewership high of 300 viewers. I've never had 300 viewers on a live stream in the channel, so I really appreciate all you guys being here. This is awesome. From wherever you guys are watching, someone just said New Zealand. Like, it's nuts to have people from all over the world, and that's what makes the NBA so great. Is it's such an international sport, and it's something that so many people love and so many people are interested in. And there it is. We just hit it, up over 300 viewers on the stream, guys. Awesome. Just thank you for that. I mean, up until this week, we'd had, I think our highest was 150, and then we hit 200 a couple of days ago, and now up over 300 today. All the kindness you guys showed, all the support. You guys are just awesome. Thank you so much. From Singapore, Argentina, all this stuff. Tough day for Argentina, but I appreciate you sticking it out and being in stream. Thank you. Josh, I'm right there with you, my dude. I'm in North Carolina. It is 1:30 from here. It is 1:30 here as well. New Zealand, Mexico. That's crazy. That's awesome. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate the Instagram follow as well. I saw it earlier today. Thank you. Croatia, mother tucker. That's cool. So the only news I've heard, I don't know if you guys follow Rusty Buckets on Twitter. Only news I heard about the Bulls was that they didn't end up with Jeremy Grant, and Rusty Buckets is like crying on Twitter, like actual tears. I don't know. The big thing about the Bulls is going to be Zach LaVine, right? Like, where does Zach LaVine end up? Where does he fall in terms of what his market is as a restricted free agent? That's kind of the big one for them. I mean, they're definitely in on some other guys because they have the cap space, but I think they're going to probably slow play it a little bit more than some of the other teams that have space. And they'll probably try and be bad for a little bit longer. But the Zach LaVine thing is super interesting. I saw a tweet where someone basically said a good deal for Zach LaVine would be like 4 years, $60 million. And LaVine, he replied to it with the crying emoji or something. Apparently was not a fan. So that's one to keep an eye on. Africa, Antarctica. Are you serious? There's no way. Corey, thank you, bud. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Mavs 2018 Summer League champs, but Luka's not playing in Summer League, I don't think. Josh says, hey, Tucker, so PG going to stay in OKC and Lakers aren't going after Kawhi hard. Does that diminish the Lakers' chances at landing LeBron? You know, it's funny because I literally just put out a video on Bron. I'm going to look at it right now. I literally just put a video out on LeBron. And as I'm editing it, PG commits to OKC. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, the Lakers have to get Kawhi. That is, if you're looking at it as, it's not necessarily the case, but if, let's just, for example, say that you're looking at it from the mindset that a trade for Kawhi is essentially a trade for both players, right? You're trading for Kawhi and LeBron because getting Kawhi means LeBron is on board. There's almost no deal. If you're the Lakers, there's almost no deal in terms of a combination of players and a realistic combination of players and draft picks. There's almost no deal that it's not worth it if you're going to get Kawhi and that's going to result in LeBron signing. I do think, like we talked about earlier, that they have to get Kawhi in order to get Bron this summer. And if they don't, it's basically Philly and Cleveland. And in my mind, it's probably Cleveland up here and Philly here, maybe like 60-40, Cleveland 70-30, Cleveland, something like that. In my eyes, again, but it's just crazy how much things shift so quickly because Braun needs that other star there. And I don't think Boogie, even if he isn't going to go back to New Orleans, I don't think Boogie's enough to get Braun. And Braun, I don't think is going to be the first guy to sign. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers went all out for a Kawhi trade soon, but I'm also reading stuff that says that they're not really going after him that aggressively anymore. So as quickly as things kind of started to develop last week for the Lakers to get Kawhi, things are kind of falling apart there. So I would say, to answer your original question, yeah, it diminishes the Lakers' chances of getting Braun because it had PG signed. I think Braun would have followed, and then the Lakers probably would have swung a deal for Kawhi and we would have been there. But LeBron needs someone to hop on that bandwagon first, and apparently it's it's not going to be PG. So, and guys, as I say it, we're almost to 400 viewers now, which is nuts. So all you guys that are tweeting the stream, all you guys that are leaving likes on the stream, I appreciate it. Like I said, we in the past have barely gotten to 200 viewers on stream before, and now we're about to double that. That's awesome. Thank you guys, and I'm trying to get to as many things in the chat as I possibly can. If I miss your question, I apologize. I'm trying to get as many as I can. Thank you guys so much. Jack, I haven't actually I haven't listened to Scorpion enough times to really give my opinion on it. I'm one of those people that I need to listen to things a couple more times to really give my opinion on it. But I am listening to it right now, actually. JR, thank you, bud. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. So there's a few people have been asking about the Clippers, and they're in an interesting situation with DeAndre leaving, and they've got two good rookie guards. They've got some interesting pieces like Tobias Harris. Avery Bradley is going to be a free agent. I don't know what they're going to do with him. But it kind of seems like because they're letting DJ leave and because they traded Blake for one draft pick. They had 2 picks in the lottery. Kind of makes you think that they're rebuilding. But if that was the case, they wouldn't have signed Doc Rivers to a contract extension. Like, that is what makes me so weirded out about the Clippers and makes me think they're trying to win games moving forward, but some of the roster moves don't say that. Those two things don't match. And like I said, I mean, Doc wouldn't have stuck around. He wouldn't have agreed to an extension if he thought that the team was going to tank or rebuild. So I don't know what the Clippers are doing, nor what their plans are. And really, it's going to be about Avery Bradley. Like everybody's asking, I don't know what's going to happen with Avery Bradley. I don't know who's going to get him, but he's a huge piece to all this. I think depending on where he goes, I mean, he could end up in Philly. He could end up, as people are saying, at Houston. He could end up almost anywhere, because I think realistically in a summer like this, you could end up getting him in the right situation, at least for the taxpayer, or excuse me, the non-taxpayer mid-level, which is about 8.5. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about before all the free agency craziness started, is the league set the salary cap and the luxury tax, and it was a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be, and the projections moving forward were also a little bit higher than I thought it would be, which obviously helps teams that are trying to create as much cap space as possible this year, as well as teams like Portland and Toronto that want to get out from under the tax as much as they possibly can. D-Flow's own Toronto Raptors. Those are some really interesting numbers that, again, were a little bit higher than I'd expected them to be. I was anticipating the luxury tax being right around 119.5, and I think it's 122. And I was expecting the cap to be at, I think, about 100, and I think it's like 102.5 or something like that. And those things matter. Like, that doesn't seem like a big difference, but it really it makes a huge difference. So that was big news that came out, obviously, before all the free agency craziness started. Josh, thank you. I appreciate it, but thank you. Jorge says, I don't think the Clippers really know what they're doing. But I mean, I don't question Jerry West. Like, Jerry West knows what he's doing. And that was what I told a lot of people when they questioned some of the Clippers' moves and whether they should have taken 2 guards and whether Jerome Robinson pick was too high. I don't question Jerry West, right? Like, Jerry West knows what he's doing, and I believe in what his plan is, whatever it is, even if I don't see it right now, even if I don't really understand kind of where they're going with this, I think Jerry West has his head on straight, and he's leading them in the direction that he thinks is going to be best, and I have a tendency to believe in that. So he is the logo. Very true. Tyreke Evans, we talked about him a little bit earlier today. He's definitely an interesting guy. Again, like there's just so many players. Like you get caught up in the Paul Georges and the Chris Pauls and the Clint Capellas and the everybody that's signing right now, and you just forget about guys like Will Barton, who obviously signed, but you forget about guys like Trevor Ariza. You forget about guys like Avery Bradley, like Tyreke Evans. It's just, there's just so many guys in this draft that you could, or in this free agency class, that you could really get a bargain for. Like Tyreke Evans had a great year. He shot the ball better than he had at any other point in his career. He did so many good things for Memphis, and it wasn't a case of putting up good numbers on a bad team. He was providing legitimate, good contributions to that team, and he's a guy that definitely teams should take a look at, especially, again, right around that non-taxpayer mid-level, which I think was set at like 8.4. Like in any other offseason, that's not going to be enough to get guys like Tyreke Evans and Avery Bradley, but in this offseason, it might only be for a year. But it might. I mean, if you're thinking about it, I mean, the Suns are using up their space. The Mavs are using up their space. The Bulls might use theirs with Zach LaVine. So we're already down to 3 or 4 teams that have space under the cap, or at least a max space. And so then the Lakers are going to use theirs on somebody else. You know, the Nets, again, like I said, have theirs. The Bulls have theirs. But you're running out of teams that have a ton of cap space. And as those numbers dwindle, you're going to be able to get a bargain on more of these guys like Avery Bradley and Tyreke Evans. So those are things to keep an eye on. Obviously, we're all excited and jacked up on coffee this evening, paying attention to all of the big deals tonight. But it's also so important to remember that these big deals are soaking up cap space and making it easier to get bargains down the road. Radar says, are you happy that Paul George didn't sign with LA? I don't know. For me, like, even though I'm a Nets fan, I'm mostly just a fan of the league in general, and I'm just a fan of stuff like this. Like this, I love this kind of stuff. I love the team building aspect of it. I love how crazy things are, how quickly things can change. So I don't know if I would say I was happy or sad or disappointed about the Paul George thing. I was mostly just surprised, right? Because my expectation ever since he requested a trade from Indiana was that he wanted to be a Laker. And that's just in my mind been what was going to happen. And I was just surprised more than anything. But I don't know that I was happy or sad about it again, because I'm just an NBA fan, and I'm loving life as an NBA fan right now. Thank you for the sub for being a Nets fan. Yeah, has anybody... I mean, I can look. The only reports I've... Oh. Should have checked my phone. Yeah, so Boogie to meet with the Lakers and New Orleans. Waj just tweeted. Hold on, I'll read it. Or it's Mark Spears, not Waj. I'm going to read it right now, because I'm sure you guys just got the same notification I did. There's a slight stream delay, maybe like 5 seconds. So Pelicans All-Star free agent center DeMarcus Cousins received calls from the Pelicans and Lakers tonight once free agency began, and is expected to have meetings scheduled with both teams soon. Interesting. I think... So the Boogie thing is, there was all this drama surrounding Boogie because the Pelicans were hesitant to offer him a max for 2 reasons. 1, the injury, and 2, how well the team played, playing at a faster pace without Boogie on the floor late in the year as well as in the postseason. So they were considering offering him a shorter deal at less than the max, which I talked about in my Free Agent Friday video on Boogie. But having said that, it kind of seems like they've come around a little bit on offering him a bit more money. But with everything happening with the Lakers now and needing another star and PG not being there, potentially not getting a Kawhi trade, if the Lakers offer Boogie a 2 or 3 year max, I would imagine he's going to go there. And I think that one of those teams, like I said, Pelicans and Lakers, are going to get Boogie. And it just depends on who offers him that first. If someone offers him the 2 or 3 year max, he's probably going to take it. So if the Lakers want him, they can have him. If the Pelicans want him, they can have him. It just depends on who's going to offer him what. But it's interesting that he's actually meeting with the Lakers. Very, very interesting. I saw someone I saw someone try and put the link in chat. I don't think YouTube moderator is going to allow for links in chat, but like I said, I read it out for you guys. Yeah, Uncle Shannon, who I appreciate the follow on Instagram and Twitter the other day. Is Boogie to Washington dead? It probably is, unfortunately. I think, for me at least, a lot of that was just kind of hopefulness because I really wanted to see him in Washington. I really wanted to see him play with John Wall again, but it kind of seems like Boogie to Washington's dead if it was ever even alive. I don't know what Washington's doing. I mean, they traded a Gortat, and I just kind of thought, okay, that means they're going to go after a 5-man. I mean, obviously, Nerlens Noel is still out there. I can't really think of any other 5-men. Ed Davis got signed. Yusuf Nurkic is out there. I think is Nurkic restricted? I think he might be. But yeah, so I don't know what the Wizards are doing at all. That's an interesting question. Nick says, who do you think will have the better season as of right now, Phoenix or Dallas? I would say Dallas, just because they've got more proven guys, right? I mean, Harrison Barnes, whatever you think about him and his time with the Warriors, is proven to be a fairly effective scorer. Obviously, DeAndre Jordan's proven to be a borderline all-star caliber player at the 5. And then you've got Dennis and Luka and Dirk, Dwight Powell, guys like that, Wes Matthews. So I would say the Mavs, just because they have more proven guys. Obviously, Trevor Ariza's a proven guy, but beyond that, I mean, Devin Booker's a very good player, but he's never really contributed to a winning team. DeAndre Ayton's a rookie. They don't have a point guard on the roster that I can think of right now because they waived Tyler Ulis. And they've got guys like TJ Warren, who I love, but again, hasn't proved much. Miles Bridges is a rookie. Josh Jackson, who's a young player. So I would say the Mavs. Whoever keeps spamming Mavs equals sleeper, I really don't want to time you out, but can we chill? Because you've been spamming it for a while. Okay. Appreciate it. Yeah, D-Flow says, shouldn't the Pels let Boogie walk so they can sign perimeter guys around AD? The thing is, they can't. They don't really have any space. If they're going to sign guys, it's going to be re-sign them, or it's going to be the mid-level. They don't have space to sign anyone. They do definitely need wings, which is why I was thinking maybe a trade to Washington for Otto Porter Jr. would happen and would really work well for both teams. But no, I mean, they're going to have to try and, re-sign Rondo, re-sign Boogie. Like, that's how they're going to not necessarily improve, but that's how they're going to, keep their group together and then try and get someone, again, with they probably aren't a tax team, I don't think. So they probably have 8 to spend as opposed to 5. Yeah, this guy's getting timed out. Sorry, bud. I tried. Tried to be nice. He would, yeah, Avery Bradley would be a good fit for any of these teams. Any of these teams, for sure. Rich, did you really? He said, didn't I say the Lakers aren't going to sign anyone big? Yeah, I mean, it's very possible that they come out of this without anyone, which is crazy to me. I mean, they're going to have to sign some people to get to the salary cap floor. Like, they're not going to sign, or they're not going to get out of this without signing any free agents. I appreciate all the follows on Twitter and Instagram, by the way, guys. Thank you. But yeah, it's just crazy that they might end up with no Bron, no PG, no Kawhi, no Boogie. That's nuts. But I mean, apparently they're aiming for 2019. I don't know. Aaron, I appreciate the sub. Thank you, bud. I am a Nets fan. Yeah, that comes up a lot for some reason in these. But yeah, I am a Nets fan. And Aaron, again, I thank you for the sub, bud. Appreciate it. There are Nets fans in this world. Yes, we do exist. Not all of us are as public as I am, but I'm definitely a Nets fan. I don't have any Nets gear to showcase here, but that's another thing. I plan on kind of sprucing up this space both for streams and videos. I don't have a ton of stuff to kind of put here, but I'm working on some stuff to kind of put around here to make the videos look a little bit nicer, whether it be the background or put stuff here. Big Baller Brand Afterthought says, will Isaiah sign anywhere? Probably not today. He's probably going to be a late one, I would imagine. Aaron, thank you, bud. Thank you for appreciating the videos. Yeah, Matt, it's not all bad, though, Matthew. I mean, here's the thing. So we're talking about, it's kind of rough being a Nets fan, which is true. I won't deny that. But at the same time, I mean, all these Lakers fans got their hopes up, and they still might end up with some very good players this summer. Just because Paul George didn't go to the Lakers doesn't mean they're going to have a bad offseason. But I mean, they got all their hopes up, and Nets fans don't have to worry about that. We expect the worst at all times, so we don't have to worry about getting our hopes up. It doesn't matter who we meet with in free agency. We know we're not signing anybody big. Again, guys, I apologize for being on my phone. Normally, I would not be on my phone on stream. Am I mad they have a bad record? You talking about the Nets? No, I don't get mad about the Nets. I don't have expectations for them as a franchise, so I don't get mad. I didn't even get mad when they weren't as good as they should have been when they traded for KG and Paul Pierce. I didn't even get mad at that. It didn't bother me. Again, expectations were low. I do specifically remember, however, that year, that offseason, they traded for those guys, and they had Darren Williams, and they had all these guys coming in. I specifically remember watching Jalen Jacoby and Jalen Rose ranking the Nets as the championship favorite that season. And it's just nuts to think about that. And then, they ended up making the playoffs and having an okay year, but they weren't championship contenders. But it's just crazy that was at one time a thing. Guys, we've already hit an hour in stream. An hour has just absolutely flown by, and I'm still ready to go. I'm rocking and rolling. I'm out of coffee, but it's flowing through me now. I'm ready to go. It's 2 a.m., but who cares? I'm in there. D-Flow, I probably should be a Hornets fan, but I would rather be a Nets fan than a Hornets fan. And I told the story earlier about why I'm a Nets fan. And it just, I don't know. The Hornets just never were part of my life. And you also got to understand, I mean, where I'm from, it's about college sports. You know, there's so many colleges around here that there's so many rivalries, NC State, UNC, Duke, that professional sports was really not emphasized growing up. And especially in basketball. I mean, definitely the Panthers were my team and always will be my team. And I watch every Panthers game religiously. But the Hornets were never pushed to me, and it was just a different kind of team that I really enjoyed watching that pushed me into being a Nets fan. And that just never really happened with the Hornets. But my neighbor's dog is actually named after Muggsy Bogues. Fun fact. Said I'm a Knicks fan, so I have issues too. See, that's one thing that we can all come together about as NBA fans, unless you're like a Celtics fan or something, or on, some years a Lakers fan. We've all had our down years, and we can all connect on our teams not being as good as we had hoped they would be, and that we can all just collectively suffer. Am I a fan of Nate Robinson? I haven't really thought about Nate Robinson's presence in this world in a while, honestly. All you guys that are saying kind things. I saw DJ say something. Nick, thank you guys. Like, you have no idea. It might seem like sometimes when you look at someone that has almost 24,000 subscribers, it might seem like things are so easy and happy and easygoing all the time. But I can't express to you how much it means to me when you guys say supporting things and kind things like that in stream or in the comments. It's just that kind of positivity and that kind of support. It means the world to me, because there are definitely days when, whether it be negative comments or just negative things going on, definitely can get me down. And it just, to have people from all different parts of the world, clearly based off stream chat, interested in my videos and want to watch my videos and think of me so highly within the NBA YouTubing community is just an awesome feeling. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate that support. So all you guys that are saying all those things in the comments and in stream, thank you guys. Like, it really means a lot. And I'm going to say that a ton, but thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Is it really 310 NR? I thought it was 130. The tax bill. I know that bringing back Grant, bringing back George, they have the highest tax bill in league history next year. I'll have to look. I'll have to pull up watch. No, Pentax. I don't think they should give Levine a max deal. I honestly, So when I was doing the Free Agent Friday videos and I would put out community polls, the big restricted free agents that people wanted to hear me talk about were Marcus Smart, Julius Randle, Clint Capella, Aaron Gordon, Jabari Parker. And Zach LaVine just kind of slid under the radar, right? Like people just didn't think about him a ton because they haven't seen a ton of him, obviously returning from injury. I don't know. I have no idea what to think about what Zach LaVine is going to get. And it's not because I haven't thought about it. And it's not because I haven't looked into it. It's just, it's so tough to decide a market for a guy that we haven't seen play much. And it's completely different from Jabari Parker because we've at least seen it, right? We've seen when he's healthy, he can do great things. And I'm not saying Zach LaVine didn't do great things in his first couple years in the league, but it just seems like it's been so long since we've seen that it's just so difficult to project his value. And who knows? I don't know what Zach LaVine is gonna get. It's not gonna be a max, I can tell you that. What I'm reading is the Bulls are a little bit hesitant to throw a lot of money his way. So if a team like the Nets, as always, throws them a big deal in restricted free agency, it could definitely be a big deal, but I don't know who it's going to be with. It's 2 a.m. for me, guys. 2 a.m. Sign and trade for Jabari Parker seemed possible. Definitely possible. And someone else brought up that maybe the Ilyasova deal tonight is kind of, them providing insurance against Jabari potentially leaving or trading him. Yeah, he said our tax was the... I see, I'm glad you said our tax is the highest of all time because I'm glad I'm not the only person that does that. When I talk about my teams, I say our. So I'll be like, I'm talking about the Panthers, be like, yeah, we played pretty well today. Just didn't pull out the win. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that you refer to them in that way. But no, yeah, the Nets took the cake for luxury tax bills for the longest time. But the Thunder this year are a repeating tax team. Did I say that right? Yeah, a repeating tax team. So their tax bill is enormous. Now, I will say, even though it's the most expensive this year, I'm sure the Warriors will pass them at some point with this crew in terms of the highest tax bill in league history. Chances on OKC landing Kawhi, 0. Yeah, I don't know. Someone said, what do you think the Clippers should do? Trade for Kawhi? I know that there are reports, right, that Kawhi wants to be in LA, but it just kind of seems like it's the Lakers more than it's LA, and that apparently he definitely prefers to play for the Lakers. So I don't know if trading for Kawhi is a smart move for the Clippers. I'm not saying it's impossible. I don't know if that's a smart move for them because I don't know if he's gonna stick around, obviously. No, I don't think the Nets are going to keep Dwight. I think he's gone. If they haven't already bought him out, then they will. What if Dwight Howard comes back to his Orlando form? I would be shocked. I would be super shocked. Rex says, to make me feel better about myself being a Knicks fan, can you tell me about their future, please? I mean, what's there to tell? I mean, you have Kristaps, who may or may not be playing next year. You have the pleasure of having Joakim Noah's contract on the books. Enes Kanter just opted back in. You're paying Enes Kanter and Joakim Noah almost $40 million next year. Tim Hardaway Jr. is on the books for a contract over its lifetime, I believe, is over $70 million. Ntilikina is tough to project. And you have Kevin Knox, who I really like. That's your future. Not a lot of good things. I'm not saying that as just being mean as a Nets fan. I'm just messing with you. The Knicks, there's not a ton going on there. I mean, Ntilikina, no idea what's going to happen with him. I mean, he's obviously a very good defender, but is he ever going to be worthy of the top 10 selection that he was? I don't know. He's going to have to develop a lot offensively for that to be the case, but he certainly has the potential with his length and his defensive ability. And I really like Kevin Knox on the wing, but I mean, they need a ton more to be considered a serious, top 4 contender in the East. And the Kristaps thing is scary. The fact that there's reports that he might not even play all of next season, it's tough. It's a tough spot to be in, and I do not envy your position as a Knicks fan. So that's not really what you're looking for, but that's just kind of the truth of it. Yeah, Jason says, do you see any big coaching changes in some of the up-and-coming teams? I can see the T-Wolves moving away from Tibbs. I would imagine Tibbs is not the coach this time next year, honestly. If I was a betting man and I had to put money on it, I would bet on him not being the coach this time next year, 12 months from now. Tom Thibodeau will not be the head coach of the Timberwolves. Yeah, can the Wolves succeed in the NBA with little to none three-point shooting? They took the least threes in the league statistically last year in terms of attempts per game. Who on their roster is an outstanding floor spacer? Jimmy can shoot threes, but not necessarily a floor spacer. He's got the ball in his hands a lot. Tyus Jones, pretty good shooter. Bielitsa, I know I'm pronouncing his name incorrectly, probably there. You've got to have guys who can shoot. I mean, obviously Jamal, playmaker and shooter, but he's not coming back. You've got to have guys that can shoot, and to go in the complete opposite direction of where the league is going by shooting the least number of threes in the league doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I will say, however, that league low number of 26.5 would have been like in the top 5 in the league, any of the last years that wasn't in the past 5. So if you go back to like 2012, it's like a top 5 number in the league to shoot 26.5 in a game. But they've got to shoot more. They've got to have more guys that can make them. My bad. B-ball, you're right. Cat shoots a good percentage. My fault. It's always funny when guys are in here with like an NBA player's name as their like YouTube account name. Like someone's in here with Gerald Henderson's name. Lots of Boogie questions, man. Boogie apparently wants his sleep. Boogie does not want to meet with these teams at midnight. He's like, I'll wait. I'll talk to the Lakers and Pelicans at some point. Boogie wants his sleep. Nets quiz. Who did the Nets trade Lillard for? This is a Gerald Wallace deal, right? Yeah, it's Gerald Wallace. I won't ever go to a Nets-Knicks game. It's rough and tough in the stands. I've been to a Yankees game. Not a Yankees fan, but I've been to the city like 6 or 7 times. I've been to a Yankees game. I've only been to a few NBA games in person. I've been to a couple of Hawks games, a couple of Mavs games. But no, I've never been to a Nets game. See, STK, I got you. I told you. I appreciate the pop quiz. I've actually considered doing like a series or a video or something during stream where it's like NBA Jeopardy, or people like answer the questions, whatever, to have the whole board set up, and it'd be like trivia questions. It's something I've considered doing. I just haven't thought far enough into it to actually figure out how it would work, but appreciate the pop quiz there. Weirdest things have happened so far. 1, Ariza signing with the Suns. Agreed. I don't know about signing with the Suns in general, but signing 1 year $15 with the Suns. Agreed. Paul George not even meeting with the Lakers. Okay. Portland opting not to pay a Davis even $5 million to outbid the Nets. The thing is, the Blazers, they already have Zach Collins. And Nurkic, I think, is restricted. So they weren't going to keep all their bigs because they're trying to stay as far away from the luxury tax as possible. So I'm not surprised that they didn't even try and bring back Ed Davis. But the Ariza thing, 1 year for $15, is definitely weird. Biggest winner from day one so far. Day one we're only 2 hours into day one. So that's a little bit tough to judge. I mean, I'll have to wait and see. We'll see how the rest of the evening goes, or the rest of the morning goes. I'm gonna wait on that one, D-Flow. Which star point guard did the Nets trade to get Jason Kidd? Oh, gosh. I shouldn't have read that out loud because I'm embarrassed myself for not knowing this. I don't know. It wasn't Marbury, was it? Let's act like I knew the answer to that as a Nets fan. Yeah, it was Marbury. Okay, so I knew it. I just wasn't confident in it. That's what I thought. Biggest winner day one, Dallas Mavs, DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, the Mavs. I've talked about this a lot. Like the Mavs are not trying to lose 50 games again next year. Like they want to make the playoffs, and now they have a really, really, really good unit to be able to make. I don't know about a lock to make the playoffs, but they're in a lot better position now. I mean, if you're thinking about a 7-man group of Doncic, Dennis Smith, Harrison Barnes, Dirk, DeAndre Jordan, Wes Matthews, Dwight Powell, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a few guys. Like that's a really good group. So I don't know about a guaranteed playoff spot, but they're certainly in a lot better position, and that's definitely what they're trying to do. You don't sign DeAndre Jordan for 1 year, 24, without thinking that you're trying to make the postseason this year. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be a high seed, but it could be a playoff team. Yeah, someone brought up the point that LeBron is saying that he's going to commit like on or before July 4th. It's unfortunate that I can't hop on live stream. If he does decide 4th of July, I will not be around a computer. I will be on a beach relaxing, so I won't be able to hop on live stream. I can't stream from the beach. I wish I could, though. I wish I could hop on stream the minute that he signs, because there's going to be so much to talk about there. But it's crazy. Like, I mean, today's the 1st, right? I mean, he's going to decide in the next, like, 4 days. LTE, yeah. Imagine the amount of data I'd have to use. I don't even have service on the beach. So, unfortunately, no. Could you guys imagine trying to hear me? I'm over here live streaming on the beach like this. You guys trying to hear me over the wind and everything, all the people on the beach. So, I'm excited, though. I'm excited to have some time to relax on the beach for the 4th. Oh my gosh, this is the crazy thing about NBA free agency is I've been on stream for an hour and 15 minutes, and we've talked about all these guys. There's so much stuff that's happened to talk about, and someone just now typed in chat that I just realized that we haven't talked about Kevin Durant signing a 1-and-1 max with the Warriors. Like I didn't expect him to sign like a 5-year max or anything, but the fact that he's doing another 1-and-1 is really, really interesting to me. I mean, it obviously allows him to continue to make as much money as possible, but this wasn't even the full max, right? I think someone in chat confirmed. I think it was a 2 years, a 1-and-1, and it was like 30.5. Like the max is 35, not 30.5. So he didn't even take the full max this year, which is kind of crazy to me, but it's crazy that we went this far and haven't talked about that at all. The fact that KD 2 years, 61. Yeah. So 2 years, 30.5 each year. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a 1-and-1 deal. So he's going to be a free agent again next year. It's very interesting. That's all I'll say. It's very interesting. I did, Rex. I did see that post. Breaking. Paul George has agreed to never get a ring. Yeah, Zach, I do read comments, bud. I try to read and comment to as many people as I can, but sometimes it gets a little bit difficult. Yep, that's true. I don't know about the exact numbers, if 5 cost them 20, but that extra 5 is definitely a huge deal to the Warriors. So some people are bringing up Giannis's brother, who I believe is with the Mavs now. I haven't seen. If you guys have seen any film or have watched him play, then that's awesome. I haven't seen nearly enough to give any kind of evaluation of him. Just because his last name is what it is, I'm not going to say that he's going to be this beast or that he's going to be this kind of player, this kind of player. I have no idea. I haven't watched anything on him, so I'm not going to give my opinion on Giannis's brother. But it's certainly an interesting name to talk about and interesting to kind of see how he develops. But I'm not just going to say, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, just because his brother is, one of the best players in the league. Greg said his other brother sucked. That's harsh. Antetokounmpo, I believe, is how I would say it. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I've like, because I've made videos on him before, and I've like looked up how to say his name correctly, and I've actually tried to say his name correctly in videos before. I don't know if that was right or not, but that was my best bet. HH says, who wins a championship first, the Lakers or PG? Ooh. I would say the Lakers. But that's a super interesting question. I would definitely say the Lakers would have a better chance of winning a championship sooner than PG and OKC, just because they still can end up with, you know, Boogie, Bron, and Kawhi, or Kawhi next year and bring someone else in. But that's a really interesting question. Oh, Doc, you're back. Appreciate it, bud. Christian, when does free agency end? Never. Because as soon as this one's done, we're talking about 2019. We're talking about Kyrie. We're talking about Jimmy. We're talking about Clay. We're apparently talking about KD. Free agency never ends. Never stops. Mohammed said, I think it's between the Cavs and the Lakers on signing LeBron. I said the same thing in the video that I put up right before I went on on stream. So I would agree. I'm excited for Summer League. I would have really liked to see Luka play, but obviously he's been playing a ton of games lately. I don't blame the Mavs for not wanting him to play or saying it's okay if he doesn't play. But yeah, I'm still very excited for Summer League to see a lot of these young guys play, Mo Bamba especially, see how he translates pretty quickly. Mixed Machine. Tucker, the type of guy to not wear pants during a live stream. I am 100% wearing pants, okay? Just to confirm to everybody, this is not like a newscast, right? I'm just sitting there with no pants underneath the desk, okay? And I literally got up for 4 seconds, and Waj has already tweeted again. What is it? They're meeting with Clint Capella on Sunday in LA. The Rockets are. So, thing is, he's restricted. They don't have to meet with him. 100% wearing pants, though, Mix. So, there you go. A ginger wearing red pants. I'm not a ginger, y'all. I'm not. I mean, it's just the lighting. I mean, I've got one light there, one light there, one light there, and a light back there. It's just the lighting making my hair look red. I'm not a ginger. I've got freckles, but my hair's brown. Someone commented, I don't know who it was, someone commented on one of my videos when I showed my face, and he was like, oh, you're a ginger. I mean, I guess I'll still watch your videos. I was like, what? Young Ron Weasley. Oh my gosh. What time zone are you? Steven, I am the East Coast, my dude. It is 2:20 in the morning. 2 a.m. No, I'm not a ginger, y'all. I mean, like, okay. If I got rid of the beard right now, would you still say I'm a ginger? Like, my hair's not that red. Zach, I appreciate you coming out, bud. Thank you. Good seeing you. Not Ed Sheeran either. Hawks targeting Zach LaVine. Do the Hawks have space? How much space do the Hawks have? I apologize about the webcam shaking. I'm typing on my laptop. Contracts. Nah, man. Free agency's not done tonight. What are you talking about? Free agency's never over. They do, yeah. The Hawks have $30 million. Interesting. I'm telling y'all, it's the lighting. 100% the lighting. Not a ginger. Smoking says, who's a worse coach, Billy Donovan or Ty Lue? You can't. I mean, the guy's both those guys are NBA coaches. Like, you can't say they're bad. I don't think Billy Donovan is a great fit in the NBA. I've talked about this a little bit in videos. I think he struggles with kind of dealing with some of the professional egos of some of these guys, and I think he's a much better fit in college. And had he stayed at Florida, he was on pace, at least at his age, he was on pace to be the winningest coach in college basketball. And he decided, obviously, to go to the NBA. And Ty Lue, I mean, he won a championship. Obviously, Bron was there, but you can't say he's an awful coach either. So I'm not going to answer that question. I just wanted to bring up the point that we get caught up in saying these coaches are bad at this, bad at that. But, I mean, they can't be awful if they're an NBA coach and on one hand, you know, they've won an NBA championship and the others won 2 NCAA championships. So. Yeah, I mean, you could, okay, let me clarify. You could make the argument that guys have made bad decisions. They in game, they're not great, or they've lost some of the respect to their players sometimes. You could make those arguments, but you can't say overall they're a bad coach for the most part. Like, there are definitely some ones that are bad, but those guys in particular, no, I don't think you can say they're a bad coach. So, like, for example, so Kalan is saying, I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but he says, Tibbs is the worst coach. Now, what you can point to about Tibbs, you can say he's not up to the times, right? They don't shoot enough threes. They don't spread the floor enough. They've got too many big guys on the floor at one time, and he doesn't rest guys the way that he should. And those are valid points. But to just say that a guy's a bad coach for one reason or another without justifying it is a little bit silly. Paul agreed to be a 4-year first-round exit. It's not a 4-year deal, though. It's a 2-2. Yeah, come on. I'm not saying you're wrong saying that Tibbs is a bad coach. I was just making the point, not necessarily in stream. I'm just saying in general, like, people in general make the argument, oh, this guy sucks, or they don't justify it. I'm not saying you specifically. Hello from Hong Kong. What's up? Appreciate the love. Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit earlier. Trevor Ariza leaving the Rockets to go to the Suns. I don't know that I expected Ariza to come back to the Rockets necessarily, because he's always been a guy that's kind of jumped around to a couple different teams. But again, like we talked about, like the Suns is just not something that I had expected in terms of replacements. I don't think there's a ton out there in terms of guys that can shoot and defend on the wing the way that Trevor Ariza can. I mean, if you're talking about starting small forwards, it's probably going to be Mbah Mute at this point. Big Ball Brand Afterthought says, when is the stream ending? I don't know, my dude. I mean, it could be soon, could be later. I don't know. We'll see how things go. I'm not putting a time on it right now. Did you guys... Someone said Big Baller Brand's better than the NBA. Did you guys see some of the videos? Is it JBL or JBA? Whatever. The LeVar Ball League. There's like nobody there, right? It's awful basketball. It's like post-grad basketball is basically what it is. And it's just awful. Like, the players are bad. Like, the play itself is bad. It's not good basketball. There's nobody there. It's gross. Like, it's embarrassing. Elijah says, as a Nets fan, do you want him to tank for a power forward like Williamson or Bol? Do you want him to still try and gradually get better? Do the Nets have their own pick next year? They have to, right? Because they pick swap with the Celtics, or they traded with the Celtics. Yeah, because they have the pick they used this year was the Raptors pick for the DeMarcus Carroll trade, so they didn't pick swap, they traded, so they couldn't have traded 2 back-to-back, so they do have their pick. Why is the stream messing up? Hold on one second. Anyway, no, I mean, so the Nets still have their pick. So, I mean, it makes sense to tank, but it kind of seems like they're just on the path of gradually improving no matter what. I apologize if there was just some stream issues. I was just telling me stream health kind of went down a little bit, but it kind of seems like the Nets are just on the path of just trying to gradually improve rather than tank again next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they did end up trying to go for a high pick, but I don't think it would be for Zion. I'm not a big Zion Williamson guy. Nick Stauskas just signed with Portland. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what Mike said. But breaking all the news, Mike. Big, big, big news. You guys thought you were here for Paul George? Nah, dude. Nick Stauskas. Oh, okay. A couple other people are saying the same thing, so maybe that is true. Doc, you got all of 2 people to say 1, so I'm definitely not a ginger. Juan, what's up, bud? Appreciate you coming out of the stream. Appreciate it. Good to see new people showing up. Thank you. All right, 3 people. Yeah, I like Kenny Atkinson a lot as a coach. Someone was talking about you'd rather be in the Nets situation than the Timberwolves situation. I think Kenny Atkinson's a great coach, and I'm not saying that just because I'm a Nets fan. I really like the fit. And what did Nick Stauskas sign for? Because like I said, the Blazers are trying to be under the tax as much as possible. They do not want to be a tax team. It's not how you spell Auburn, by the way. I know what you're trying to say. What am I saying? Yo, I'm losing my mind. I'm getting so tired I can't even remember what I was just talking about or what I was just about to look up. The Trailblazers. Lord. Someone someone tell me what Stauskas signed for. Give me the years and the money, if you know it. Anybody know? 1 year minimum? What's the minimum? 2? I'm just trying to see. So right now, they're at 112. The luxury tax is 123. So they're trying to stay under the tax. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like how much. Okay, I see the 1 year minimum. What's the minimum? Does anybody know? Is it 2? Isn't that what D Rose signed for as the minimum? Let me see. I'm looking right now to see if I can get. It's just important in terms of like 2.5. Okay, I'm getting 3 different numbers here. All right, let's just say it's 2.5. Okay, you're right. Yeah, Joseph, that's a good point. It depends. Okay, let's just say it's 2.5. Okay, so that puts them at a little over, almost like 115, assuming they don't sign anybody else for next year, and so that gives them like 8-ish left under the tax. But that's obviously they let Ed Davis go, and then they have Nurkic to worry about as an RFA. Interesting. That kind of tells me they're not going to bring back Nurkic, because you would imagine he could get somewhere close to 8. And again, they just really, really want to be under the tax. They might be dumping someone soon. Might try and dump Evan Turner or Myers Leonard. Myers Leonard's making $10.5 million. Ouch. Interesting. I did not expect the Blazers to be active this evening because they're trying to stay under the tax. I was looking at the luxury tax, not the cap. No one cares. Just talk about the Lakers. I've talked about the Lakers so much, my dude. I literally just put out a video. I've talked about the Lakers so much on stream. I find all this other stuff interesting as well, all the Trailblazer stuff. Who wants Evan Turner? Lord knows, my dude. See if you can find him. See if you can find anybody that wants Evan Turner. I wish I could play music for y'all so it's not just me talking, but YouTube would be upset. $2.1. Okay, appreciate it. One-year minimum, yeah. It's always funny to me, all these accounts that literally just tweet the exact same that Watch does. PG-13 put a picture up on Instagram of him and Russ. I appreciate the love from North Carolina. Go Pack, but I'm glad you're a Panthers fan, but go Pack. I could see Paragon's asking, which team do you think will be taking contracts for salary cap relief in exchange for picks? I could see the Bulls being in on that. They already did it, taking on Ashik for the Mirotic deal. They got the Pelicans pick. I would not be surprised if they're one of the teams, but like we talked about earlier, the teams that have space are kind of running out of it. They're spending it pretty quick. Teams like the Suns that could have been in on taking on contracts for a pick. So I would say definitely keep an eye on the Bulls. I don't think really the Nets would be in on that. I think they're trying to sign someone this summer. Yeah, Paragon and Amir, I've thought about. Oh my gosh, I've thought about putting like the YouTube audio library, just downloading some of that and playing it in the background. I didn't do it this time, but I'll look into it in the future. Hey, Corwin, South Raleigh, born and raised in Raleigh, my dude. Born and raised in Raleigh, so good to see you in here. And staying up along with me at 2:30 this morning. Appreciate you coming out, Radar. Yeah, you get some sleep, bud. LaFlop, we've talked about Zach Lehman a little bit earlier, and I don't really know where he's going to end up. He's definitely a difficult guy to project. Matthew, the Nets don't have a max slot to offer the Celtics. You're in the same room as the guy from Raleigh? Hopefully you're not talking about me. Hopefully you're talking about the other guy that commented that he's from Raleigh. That's cool, though, to have people from North Carolina. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, crap. Do I speak any foreign language? I don't. I took Spanish classes in high school, and that was about it, and I couldn't tell you how to speak any words in Spanish. I took 2 courses in Spanish. Spanish 1, Spanish 2. And I've outside of, the ones that everybody knows, counting to 10 and hello, I got nothing. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Sana. Tyler Johnson, 19.5. Yeah, not a free agent deal, but Tyler Johnson is making $19.5 million this year because of the Nets. Big shout out, that poison pill contract. Joseph, took 5 years of Spanish, don't remember a word. I'm right there with you, dude. No, I don't watch any European basketball outside of some stuff on Doncic. The only European basketball I watched this year, with the exception of watching stuff for Doncic, just in general watching teams, I watched some Eurobasket stuff when they won, when Doncic's team won. Reynaldo says, do you think it's crazy NBA players make millions for playing basketball? No, because they make a lot of money for these teams. I've talked about this a ton, so I'm not going to get riled up about it on stream, but I've talked about this in a couple of videos. For people to say this guy makes too much money, blah, 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 they're not the ones setting the market. The owners, the league, there are people willing to pay them that much to play basketball because they see value in them as basketball players to make their own team money. Otherwise, they wouldn't offer them that money. They're all businessmen. They all want to make money for their own teams, and they wouldn't offer them these contracts if they didn't think that they were worth it. And in all reality, if there was not a salary cap, the best players in the league would be making a lot more than they are. And obviously they're making a lot of money to play basketball, and that's an awesome situation to be in. And you could argue that it's a little bit silly, but economically it makes sense for them too, because in America, at least, you're worth what someone's willing to pay you. And there are multiple owners willing to pay Paul George $35 million to play basketball, then that's what he's worth. So no, I don't think they're making too much money. Some guys are coming to the stream late and asking me stuff that I've already talked about earlier, and I don't really want to repeat it too much for guys that were here the whole time. We talked about DeAndre a little bit. Someone's asking about him. It's just interesting that it's a 1 year 24. I'd expected him, if he was going to opt out, he was going to go for more years and less money. Tripex says, what are your opinions on Luke Walton's skills as a coach? I like him as a coach. I think he's doing a good job with that team, but I think it could be one of the things that could potentially change if LeBron signs with the Lakers. Not necessarily this year, but moving forward, just because he's young. He was in the league at the same time as Bron. It could be kind of weird for him. Obviously, Ty Lue was fairly young, but Ty Lue's not Luke Walton. And I just think it could be an interesting dynamic and potentially could end up being a situation where he is not the Lakers coach a year from now if Bron does sign. But it wouldn't be because he's a bad coach. It would just be a bit of an awkward situation. Imagine having to pay 37-year-old CP3 $40 million. That's the opportunity cost, though, of having him next year, right? I mean, obviously, that's a lot of money to pay anybody at 37. And obviously, that would be what Chris Paul would be. But you also get him this year, next year, and the following before you have to do that. So that's part of the opportunity cost of having him in this window where you legitimately think you can make the finals and should have made the finals this past year. Elijah says, have you noticed that the Kings are starting to move in the right direction? No, I haven't. Hey, Big Ball Brand, I appreciate you being out here, bud. Thank you. Yeah, go get some sleep, bud. Yeah, Kalan, you're right. Probably Bron's probably worth that at 37. Yeah, there are pics of Bron in LA in a car on Twitter. That's where he lives. He lives in LA in the summer. His family does. They do that every year. Paul George booed at Staples next season. I don't know. I mean, it didn't really seem like the Lakers were going after him that aggressively, honestly. Suns and Mavs making the playoffs? No, probably the Mavs. I don't know about the Suns. You think the Suns will go for Isaiah Thomas in need of a point guard? Yeah, but I mean, they don't really need a scoring guard. They need a guy that can set other guys up. Elfrid Payton still on the roster for them, or did they get rid of him? So he's pretty much the only guy I can think of. They both got renounced. There we go. Right on cue, Juan says. I think Alex Len's a pretty solid guy. He's someone that has some potential that you could get pretty cheap. Maybe Washington. Every time a five-man comes up that's on the free agent market, like Nerlens Noel, like Alex Len, my first thought is definitely Washington. So that's something to keep an eye on. Run Devin Booker at the point. Yeah, but I mean, he needs to be off the ball some as well, which is why I lobbied for them to take Doncic. Alfred's a free agent. So who? Okay, do the Suns have a point guard on the roster? Like, hello? What are we doing? Let me look. I can't think of anyone else. Okay, Brandon Knight. Does he even exist anymore? I guess he does. When's the last time Brandon Knight played 40 games in a season? Let's figure that out. I honestly forgot about Brandon Knight's existence in this world. Yeah, Brandon Knight's the only one. Okay. When's the last time Brandon Knight played 40 games? Let's check. Okay, so he played 54 last year, 52 the year before, 60-something. So he's never played 82. He's actually not as injury-prone as I thought. I just feel like I haven't seen him in a while. Okay, but he's not really much of a 1, though, if you want to say that he's a 1. So, I mean, I would imagine they're going to be in the market for a 1 at some point. Wait, what did I just see? Did I see something about Braun? Hold on. I swear, trying to keep up with Twitter tonight is nuts. Yeah, so they spoke with Braun spoke with Cleveland at midnight, apparently. That's the update. He spoke with the team that he was employed by the last 4 years. If only they still had Bledsoe. Yeah, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big Eric Bledsoe guy. Is this the end of Brook Lopez's career in LA? Can Braun use him as a shooter? Brook's a free agent too, right? And that's all-time leading scorer. Big shout out, big trivia question. I don't know. I mean, is he going to go back to LA? Is he going to go to Washington? Again, 5-man available. Someone call the Washington Wizards. I don't know about the end of his career. Can LeBron use him as a shooter? I mean, that's kind of a weird way to phrase that because we don't necessarily know that Bron's going to be there. But I'm sure he can still find a team. Will I go live tomorrow too? Kind of depends on what happens with everything. I mean, if like LeBron signs tomorrow, then yeah, for sure. But I mean, I've got to sleep at some point probably. I've got to work on some more videos, so I'll try and go live as much as I can. I mean, I love this stuff, and I love having all of you guys here, so I'll try to do as much as I can. I'm not going to promise anything tomorrow, though. Like I said, moving forward, my plan is to have a video or a stream every single day as often as I can, with the exception of, like, 4th of July coming up. Will Barton already signed, LaFlop James. He re-signed with the Nuggets. He was like the first one that I saw that I got a notification for. He re-signed, I think, 4 years, $50. Keegan says Warriors era will be done in 2020-21 season. Yeah, for a while, like, I was kind of pinpointing 2019, 2020 is kind of the end for this Warriors roster. But with guys taking pay cuts, I mean, they could extend it, but eventually that 4-man group is gonna break up. Whether it's KD leaving or Draymond leaving, eventually it's gonna happen. Like, it's just the amount of money they'd have to spend to keep that group together with the repeater tax and the luxury tax. Eventually, it's gonna end at some point. Joseph, I appreciate you being nice and saying hey. Yeah, I don't know if it's even necessarily like Draymond could potentially leave because he doesn't want to take a pay cut. I mean, obviously he wants the Supermax, which is going to be extremely expensive for the Warriors, but it's also, I think, that they might let him go because defensively Durant, when engaged, can do a lot of things Draymond can in terms of playing the 5, having great length, being able to protect the rim, being able to stay in front of wings and guards. So they might be able to see Draymond as expendable potentially. So I think he might end up being the first guy to leave. You work at Burger King? Burger King makes me sick. I don't want to ever eat Burger King. I haven't had Burger King in so long, and I don't plan on it. It's just not a fun experience. Anthony, I haven't seen anything on IT at all, dude. Honestly, I haven't seen literally anything recently or otherwise about Isaiah Thomas. Zach, I do play Fortnite. I play on PS4. Alistar, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming out. Yeah, get some sleep, bud. I'll probably get some sleep at some point too. Appreciate you coming out. Zach, I could tell by your name that you play Fortnite. I've thought about tweeting out if anybody wanted to play like squads or duos or something. on Fortnite. I thought about tweeting out my PSN. So if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, sometime I might tweet that out and try and get some sub games going. Hi from Australia. Anthony, I appreciate the energy from Australia, my dude, with the all caps. It is 3 o'clock in the morning where I am, and I've had some coffee, but I'm trying to keep the energy up. So I appreciate the energy. Zach, if you have Twitter, dude, follow me on Twitter, and I might later. Kind of music do I like? I listen to a lot of stuff, honestly. My Spotify is nuts in terms of what I've listened to recently. What's up, gaming? How you doing, bud? I haven't. Yeah. I haven't. I literally just completely lost my train of thought. That's how tired I am. I was in the middle of a sentence, and I cannot remember what I was talking about. Music. My Spotify is reckless. Like, I could go from listening to, like, the Eagles to listening to Post Malone to listening to some country music to listening to Drake to everywhere. Like, it's not like, I don't know. It's just whatever mood I'm in, whatever I'm feeling. I could go from No Shame. I mean, I could go from listening to, like, Panic at the Disco to Drake. Like I said, like, it's everything. It depends on what mood I'm in. But yeah, guys, some people are asking about Fortnite. Again, just follow me on Twitter. I might tweet at some of y'all or tweet out at some point, looking for some sub games. I could do some Fortnite streams. The thing is, so obviously I have my Twitch up there. I would never stream games on this YouTube channel because it doesn't fit what I do on this, but I do have a Twitch channel, and it's affiliated and everything. We can do donos and subs and everything. It's a little bit difficult to do Fortnite because when I stream, it takes up a lot of the internet and the connection on Fortnite's weird. I do try and do some 2K streams sometimes, but it's just about having time to do it, obviously. But yeah, if you guys want, definitely follow me on Twitch, and I'll try and do some stuff. Crappy, I'll get some sleep, but don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Yeah, gaming, you're late, my dude. You are late to the party. I've been this is almost 2 hours of stream now. We've talked a lot about some free agency stuff. Yeah, Zach, I get it. It can be tough sometimes with Wi-Fi, and Fortnite is so frustrating to play when it's lagging behind. Favorite NBA YouTubers? We talked about this a little bit. Andy's definitely my guy. I love his presentation style. It's very professional. It's very informative. And he does a really good job of talking about past events in the NBA like he was there. So Andy would definitely be one. Bob Jack, appreciate the follow on Twitch if you're in stream, bud. I would say Andy's my favorite. Can you list all the deals? Elias, there's a lot, my dude. Go check Twitter, and you'll see if you have Twitter. Do I like Mike Korzemba? I don't really have much of an issue with him. I just haven't watched his videos a ton just because his presentation style is a little obnoxious sometimes for me to pay attention to, but he's obviously very good at what he does. I don't have an issue with him. I just don't watch him a ton. Joseph, thank you so much, dude, for the $2.99. I appreciate it. Thank you. Big shout out to Joseph. Again, it's not an expectation, guys, for you to donate or to use Super Chat or anything. But the two things I would say are, one, it definitely helps me. It definitely helps support the channel, and it's much appreciated. As well as if you have a question that you're just dying for me to answer. Obviously, sometimes it's very difficult for me to find it in chat sometimes. So obviously, if you donate, I'm going to shout you out. I'm going to say, hey, I appreciate it. So that's an easy way to make sure that I see your question if you really want it to be seen that bad. But again, it's not an expectation, and I'll try and read as much as I can out of chat. But again, donos are much appreciated. Again, Joseph, I appreciate it. Someone said Kane loves Callie's best channel on YouTube. I like him as well. He actually follows me on Twitter as well, so I like him. Yeah, I agree. Who do you guys watch other than myself? I appreciate the love, Mix. Thank you. I watch a little bit of SDC on occasion. Yeah. Who else do you guys watch? Cool. I appreciate the view, bud. Yeah, go watch that Braun video. Will Memphis get Tyreek Evans back? I doubt it, honestly. Doesn't seem like they're that interested. NDJ, Clay Allen, Mike, Jesser. I like Jesser. Dom 2K. Dom 2K is cool. Don't watch a ton of Troy Dan. I love Funky. Funky's really cool. I like Jimmy. SDC, B-Souls, I like. Mix, I didn't need to know that. MDJ, yeah, a lot of the usual ones. I see you. Funky, yeah, Funky's really cool. Funky's a really interesting follow on Twitter if you're not already. Gaming, yeah, I appreciate you trying to list some of those out. Thank you. LSK, did you guys see they're actually doing like Slam Magazine is doing a video on the 2K, the 2 Hype house? Like all those guys are doing not like a documentary, they're doing like a feature on it though. Mopey, I don't watch Mopey. I know who he is. Los, not a huge Los guy. I do watch Jesser though. LSK, yeah. Am I good at basketball? How tall am I? I am. I should join the 2 Hype house. Yeah. I wouldn't be against a Funky collab. That'd be cool. Funky's really cool. I am 6'4" actually for Diop who's asking. 6'4", good at basketball. I wouldn't be able to tell you. I haven't played in so long. I haven't even played pickup in like months. Used to be pretty good, but Crispy's a good one. Yeah, Funky. A lot of people are saying Funky. I really like him. He's an interesting guy. Like if you follow him on Twitter and stuff. I haven't watched Chris move in so long. Okay, yeah, I've got some new names to check out then. On that road to 24K. Let me check Twitter. Elijah with the 199, I appreciate it. Elijah says, "Why do you think Bagley and Bamba will be busts?" I don't know that I ever said that they would be busts. I don't know if I used those words. Again, I appreciate the 199. I liked other guys better. Like I liked Jaren Jackson better. I liked Wendell Carter better. But I don't have anything against either of those guys. I just think that the expectations for Bagley were a little bit too high, and I think he's a great athlete, but he's probably going to end up being a DeAndre Jordan type player, but maybe not as good defensively in terms of protecting the rim. And then Bamba, people were saying he's the second coming and he can shoot threes and block shots and everything. And I just wasn't that high on that part of his game. I don't really think he's going to be able to translate to shooting the ball super well, but I don't necessarily think they're going to be busts. Again, I appreciate the dono. You had knee surgery amplified on Tuesday? Man, I hope you have a good recovery, bud. That's tough. Knees, ugh. I've had surgery one time. I have screws in this finger. So I can't believe I haven't talked about this on stream before. So this is like a pickup basketball injury. I was playing basketball at the YMCA. And like I went to reach for the ball. It was like a loose ball. And I went to reach for it. And my finger went straight in this guy's leg. And if I can show it, this like doesn't go straight, right? So this finger's fine. This one's messed up. Okay, so see how this is like bent? There's 2 screws in this finger. And it's all like, I can't even show it probably. It's all like swollen, right? I look so stupid trying to show this. And so this is as much as this finger bends. I can't even make a fist with it, if you can see that. I can't even make a fist with it. It's all messed up. There's 2 screws. There's a scar. I reached for it, and I just busted this finger into a whole bunch of different pieces. It's gross. So I wish you a recovery, whoever missed your name. Amplified. Wish you a good recovery from your knee surgery, bud. That's rough. Joseph, that is an interesting question. He said, what's the hardest part of making YouTube videos? I can definitely speak to the fact that the consistency. So I can't describe to you guys how much I love doing this. I love the interaction. I love the immediate feedback that I get on my videos. I love all the support you guys give. Having so many people watch the videos, like all that stuff is awesome, but keeping it consistent in terms of the daily, not even motivation, but the daily determination to continue to put out content, because it's one of those things where if you're not putting out content, you're not helping yourself grow, and to be frank, you're not helping yourself make any money. And there's no one telling you to wake up every day and make content. There's no one telling you every day to wake up and edit and come up with new ideas and continue to be creative. And it's very easy to get complacent, and that's something that you're fighting all the time. And for me personally, that's something that it's very easy to fall into a slump of, especially when you've got all these other things going on in life. YouTube is a very time-consuming thing, but I wouldn't trade it for anything, and I don't want this to come across like I'm complaining, because I truly, truly love doing this. But that's what I would say, the editing part as well as the consistency. But again, it's just an adjustment. It's just something that I need to continue to work on, and I've been trying to continue to work on. How do I edit my videos? So when I first started, but this is like, I had less than 100 subs. In January, I had less than 100. And right around Christmas of last year, I started using ScreenFlow, which is a Mac and Apple editing software. Before that, I was using iMovie, which was gross. And I immediately saw an improvement in my video quality once I switched to ScreenFlow. And then now I'm using Premiere. So now I use Premiere. So Steven is asking, how do you stay motivated if you're starting a channel from nothing and have little viewership? So we're going to go into story time a little bit here. So I started this channel basically a year ago. So like, I would say like 14 months ago. And I didn't get to 100 subscribers until like a couple weeks into January of this year. So 7 months ago. And I can definitely speak to the fact that it's very frustrating and it's very demotivating to create content that you think is good and just not be able to get it out to people for whatever reason. And the most difficult thing you can do on YouTube by far, especially if you're starting from zero, you don't have anybody to shout you out, you don't have any other way to get started. The most difficult thing that you can do is trying to get to 100 subscribers and then also getting to 1,000. And from there, it's not that it's easy, but that is by far the most difficult thing, because you have to try and find something that's going to get you out there. And when it does get out there, it's got to be good enough that people want to see more of it. It's not easy, but it's not that difficult to just create a video that a whole bunch of people are going to watch, but the views aren't going to help you if the people don't subscribe. So what I would say is to just not get bogged down in the numbers. And even I try and practice this now. Don't check the views all the time. Don't check the subs all the time. Just focus on the content. Focus on putting the best content out that you possibly can. And that's how you don't get bogged down in it. It's just be proud of what you're doing. Be proud of the content, and everything else will follow. And that's kind of what allowed me to start going in the right direction, is no matter whether people were watching the videos or not, I was proud of it. And that was something that helped me get through all those months of people just not watching the videos. Okay, what's going on with Damian Lillard's Twitter? What's happening? Hold on, I got a notification about it. Okay, so all he tweeted was the peace emoji and a watch. I don't know what that means. I don't know, what does that mean? What does that mean, Dame? The Emoji War Part 2. Yeah, I just saw it. Interesting. I was over there on a tangent trying to give life advice about YouTube, and Dame is over here dropping bombs. Anybody know? Anybody know what's going on? Anybody got some insider info? Time to go. Time to peace out. I'm going to look. I did read that if they're going to get rid of somebody, it's probably going to be Dame, that the front office is a lot more attached to CJ. If you click on it, the first reply is Hoop Central saying, "Welcome to Cleveland, Dame." What app do I get notifications from? I have Watch notifications on Twitter, as well as a couple other NBA guys on Twitter, and then Bleach Report, obviously. I accidentally just closed Spotify, and now my music is gone. Sad times. Thoughts on Scorpion? Someone asked me that earlier. I got to listen to it a little bit more. They're definitely ones that I like, but I'm not a fan of all of them. I'm not just going to say, "Oh, I love the album." It's I love all of them. I got to listen to it a little bit more to give some hard opinions on it. I haven't had a ton of time to listen to it. What a turnaround that would be if the Lakers signed or traded for Dame. I'm not saying it's happening. Someone mentioned it. That'd be crazy. Appreciate it, Doc. Thanks for coming out, bud. Yeah, get some sleep. I'm going to end up screwing up some people's Sundays for staying up. Oh my gosh, Elijah, did you really? Oh, man. That's the first video I ever made, my dude. It's bad. Like, the audio is literally recorded. So Elijah went back and watched the very first video I made on my channel, and I can't believe it's still up there. I don't know why I didn't take it down. The audio is literally recorded on this, like on these headphones. I just like talk like this, and that's the audio, and I edited it in iMovie with just like pictures, and it's gross. Thank you, Elijah. I appreciate you coming out. Good night, bud. Nicholas, someone already said hi to you, bud, didn't they? You came into stream, someone said hi, say hi, and then I think Joseph did, and I shouted him out for saying hi to you, bud. What's going on? Where are you from? Oh, Paragon, you have no idea, dude. Like, I'm normally someone that is like all about waking up at like 7:30, getting the day started, getting after it. And my sleep schedule lately has just been all messed up. No matter what time I wake up, 6, 7 a.m., whatever, I just cannot go to sleep on time in the evening. And obviously this is not helping me, but Australia, well, I appreciate the love from Australia, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being out here. A few thoughts on 2K this year. I didn't play as much 2K18 as I have of any 2K really since I started playing it. This was like 2K10 is probably my first 2K game that I played a lot, and I didn't play almost any 2K18 this year. It just didn't interest me. Last year I got super into my team, and then this year I don't know. I just wasn't into it. Man, it's only 5 p.m. where you guys are in Australia. Oscar, what country, dude? DJ, I was always an Xbox guy. Up until this generation, I was an Xbox 360 guy, and then this generation is my first playing on PS4. Yeah, man, not a lot of good rep going around about 2K18. 9 a.m. in Serbia. Appreciate the love from Greece, dude. 3 a.m. for you? Yeah, it's 3 a.m. for me, V. Someone going through and crushing the Instagram likes. That's crazy how many different places people are watching this from. Never imagined at the beginning of this year that I'd be running a live stream with almost 24,000 subscribers and have people from all these different places watching one of my streams. Like, you gotta understand, like, I literally had less than 100 7 months ago. So less than 100 subscribers. That's nuts. Yeah, I honestly don't know that many people that play Xbox One. Most people I know play PS4. Appreciate the sub, Anthony. Thank you, bud. Who do I want the Nets to get? That's an interesting question. Nobody's really asked me who I want them to get. I don't know, because Julius Randle I really like, but I think it might be better for him to play like a 4-5 combination, like be a really athletic, really skilled, kind of undersized 5-man, and Jared Allen is kind of the centerpiece at the 5. Centerpiece, play on words there, unintentional. For the Nets moving forward at the 5, I would really like, depending on the price, I would really like having Jabari, Aaron Gordon, either of those guys. I don't know that they're going to be able to get them, but depending on the price, I'd like to have those guys. DJ, appreciate the sub, man. Thank you. Corbin said, we're about to get a win a game of Fortnite. I am a Season 4 noob in Fortnite, for sure. I didn't play until season 4. I think I have like 16 wins across game modes. I'm not the greatest Fortnite player I've ever seen, but I'm getting better, especially for a console player. Amplified, appreciate the sub. Appreciate the sub, man. We're on that road to 24K, and then soon, quarter of a way to 100,000 pretty soon. Oh, Big Baller Brand. Appreciate you coming back, dude. Welcome. Yeah, my only problem with Rondé Hollis Jefferson is dude just can't shoot. Like, if he could shoot, he'd be a really valuable player, but he's just got an awful jumper. Yeah, imagine if they did get Julius Randle and they have D'Lo and Julius Randle on the same team. That's funny. Mr. Flutes, appreciate the sub, bud. Tucker only plays Fortnite. Only football. You almost got me. You almost got me. I play Fortnite a good amount. I watch Game of Thrones. Yeah, I've seen all Game of Thrones. Anxiously awaiting the next season. I don't play Overwatch, though. Ronaldo, first time watching. I appreciate you coming out, bud. Thank you. You didn't even sub? Well, I'm going to thank you for it anyway, Mr. Flutes. Someone has the last couple of minutes. Daniel says, if the Spurs wait till the February trade deadline, will Kawhi's value drop? Delta, I appreciate the sub. Corbin, I appreciate the sub. Thick, I appreciate the sub. Thick with 2 C's. Interesting. I think if you're talking about Kawhi's trade value, really, he only has trade value right now. Legitimate trade value to the Lakers, because that's the only team that he's apparently interested in re-signing with. And his value to the Lakers right now, if they're interested in getting LeBron, is higher than it will ever be. So if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, it would decline by the trade deadline. All these guys are subbing. I appreciate it, but I did turn off the notification of people subscribing on screen because people were unsubscribing and subbing just to show up on screen, and it was just making the sound all the time. It was really annoying. But I do appreciate the subs, guys. Nicholas, I appreciate the subscription, dude. Thank you. Will Aldridge stay or get traded? I'm assuming you're talking about LaMarcus. I haven't seen anything about him being traded or anything like that. Can the Mavs sign another free agent like Aaron Gordon? I don't believe so. Let me look at the Mavs cap space. Unfortunately, I don't have every single team's contract numbers memorized in my mind for you guys, but Mixed Machine sub when I had 2,000. That's impressive, my dude, because videos have improved a lot since then, but I appreciate the long time support. So the Mavs have like 8 million in space left if DeAndre is signing for 24. So they can't get Aaron Gordon or anything, but they do have some space left. They have about 8 left. Delta, I appreciate the sub, bud. They're not capped out completely. They have like 8 left. What I'm reading says that they had 70, so that's like 33 under the cap. They get DeAndre for like 24.1, so have 8 or 9 left. Something like that. 8, 9, 10. Who cares? That's another guy Josh is bringing up. What about Lance Stevenson? Like I talked about the fact that I was surprised the Pacers declined his option, but I mean, he's a free agent. Who's getting Lance? I mean, who's getting bad Lance because he's not playing in Indiana, so he's going to suck whoever he's with. Interesting. Didn't think about it. Who wants Lance Stevenson? Nathan King, do you feel like NC State football can start competing for ships in the ACC soon? My dude, Dave Durant is current. I'm not going to talk about it a ton because these guys probably don't know what I'm talking about, but he's been crushing the recruiting game. Dave Durant has. Davey Do. So I hope so, man. I have high expectations moving forward for sure. They did. V, that's an excellent point. So this is why you guys are around. He said, I think they declined Dirk's option. They did. So they'll probably be more at like 5 million after they get Dirk back on his probably a little bit more than the 5 that he was at this past year. I don't know. I don't really play games on PC, Ahmed. I don't know. I'm not really a PC gamer. OKC could use Lance. Interesting. Mavs has 6. Yeah, something like that. Hydroxide, something like 6. After Dirk's new deal. Yeah, Mo, I was pretty surprised, dude. I was pretty surprised. Lance to the Lakers with Braun. Interesting. Imagine. Quantonic says, I can't believe DeAndre signed with the Mavs. Well, all you got to do is go back to my Free Agent Friday video on DeAndre, and you would have known. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to take Wes Matthews' contract, but it's only one more year, right? Yeah, it's only one more year. It's not that bad. Yeah, Nicholas, I do play PS4, bud. Yeah, I predicted Braun to the Lakers. I don't know if it's... I mean, it's not obviously a guarantee that that's where he's going to end up. But yeah, I think there's definitely some non-basketball incentive to be in LA for sure. No question. Someone commented on the first video I ever made, said Elijah sent me here. That's funny. LaFlop over here talking trash about the Panthers. That's fine. You don't have to like Cam. I probably wouldn't like Cam if I wasn't a Panthers fan. Yeah, I think the Mavs are fine with being in quote-unquote no man's land. I think they just want to make the playoffs. They're not trying to win ships with this group, I don't think. I think they're just trying to make the playoffs next year. I think they're fine being in no man's land. Am I bored doing this live stream? No, I'm a little tired, but I'm not bored. I'm enjoying it. I mean, imagine this. Imagine, you know, you've got 175 people, according to mine, watching you talk about basketball, and you just got 175 people in chat you can just talk basketball with about NBA free agency. I think that's cool. So why would I be bored with that? Panthers Super Bowl champs next year. The funny thing is, I lived in Atlanta for part of this year, so I have people down there I could stay with, and that's where the Super Bowl is. So if the Panthers make the Super Bowl, you can catch me in Atlanta spending my life savings on a Super Bowl ticket. Nah, I don't make NFL videos, bud. Do I think DJ re-signs after this upcoming season? It depends on what the Mavs want to give him. After this year, I'd imagine he'd want like long-term security. Potentially. Appreciate the sub, Mo. Thank you, bud. Appreciate it. What did I go to NC State for? Sport management. Graduated in 2017. Graduated last May. Do I think Jokic and Barton are worth all that money? I don't know. I mean, apparently the Nuggets do. Apparently the Nuggets are all in on this group, and they want to try and make the playoffs with this group and do everything they can. Whether they're worth that much, I don't know. I mean, that's a tough situation to put themselves in, already over the cap, close to the luxury tax until Millsap's deal comes off in 2020. So, I don't know, man. Nathan, are you serious, dude? Nathan says, I'm in a room at a party that was thrown in celebration of Paul George staying. Got like 8 people watching this with me. Well, all 8 people watching with Nathan, welcome. Seems like a pretty cool guy. Yeah, I played basketball in high school, Mo. Not in college, though. I'm a Bengals fan. Really regret this choice. Robbie says, I'm in high school and I'm thinking about majoring in sport management in college. Is it good/worth it? It depends on what you want to do. I mean, do you want to be like do you want to work at a fitness club? Do you want to be like a facilities manager? I enjoyed the program at NC State. There's a lot of group projects and a lot of working with other people. So if that's not your strong suit, then maybe not. But it depends on what you want to do. Cap, I'm a Nets fan, bud. Cookie, they might, dude. They might sign and trade Jabari now they have Ilyasova. Millsap is a team option. I thought it was a player option. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Almost positive that Millsap is a player option. Sorry, I'm just checking to see. I'm almost positive Paul Millsap's deal is a player option next year. Just want to make sure. Telling y'all, Basketball Reference is a lifesaver. Mo says, what would you say is the biggest challenge was growing your channel from 0 to 23? The first 100 and the first 1,000, like I talked about. Oh, it is a team option. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, Paul Millsap's deal is a team option. Interesting. Mo, I'd say the biggest thing, like I said, is a consistency, but just not getting bogged down in good and bad days. I mean, even now I have good days and I have bad days in terms of subs and growth and everything. And it's just so easy to get caught up in the numbers and a great video and nobody watches it for whatever reason. And there's just so many things that go into getting people to watch it, from the thumbnail to the title, the tags to the content itself. And it's very difficult to try and figure out exactly how to get videos out there. And it's just very easy to get down on yourself about a video that you thought was going to do well, ends up doing really well. And that's the biggest challenge, like I said, is just not being bogged down in the numbers. Pete, I appreciate it, bud. Again, I was wrong. I don't have any issue admitting that I was wrong. It's 3:16 a.m. where I am. I don't know, man. Does anybody know? Has anybody seen anything about Isaiah Thomas tonight? I'll check Twitter, but it seems like things are calming down a little bit for the evening or for the morning. I am hungry. I just ate breakfast. I guess you could say breakfast like an hour ago. I'm right before I got on stream, so 2.5 hours ago. I've not seen anything about Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, Mo, I try, man. I try to make people feel as involved as I can. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I'm sure Isaiah Thomas will sign somewhere, probably a mid-level guy though right now, probably like an $8 million a year kind of guy, maybe like 3 years, quick math. 3 years, 24, maybe 2 years, 16. No, I'm not in Michigan. I'm in North Carolina, but I am in the East time zone. It's midnight where you are, Thick? You're on the West Coast then, dude. Diffuse, I'll try, man. I'll try. Yeah, that's what I figured. West Coast. No, I've never watched Game of Zones. I've had plenty of people in stream tell me to watch it, but I never have. I want to see what's going on with this Dame tweet. Time to go get a munchie meal from Jack in the Box. I don't think I've ever had Jack in the Box in my life. Yeah, I could see Dallas competing for a playoff spot next season with DJ. It's not going to be easy, but I think they could. I might check it out, Thick. I've had a couple of people tell me to watch Game of Zones. So how do I watch it? Is it on Bleacher Report? Can I look it up on YouTube? How do I do it? How far am I from Fayetteville? A little less than 2 hours. It's on YouTube. I'll look it up. I'll watch Game of Zones. Probably when I'm trying to get myself to sleep tonight. Or this morning, I guess. Yeah, I don't see anything about Dame right now. It's on YouTube? Yeah, I'll check it out. I'll look it up. Don't throw me spoilers, Nathan. You and all 8 people that are watching with you. Don't throw me any spoilers. I would, but I don't want to. I would watch it. I don't want to get in copyright trouble though. Which team do you think is going to surprise everybody? Do you mean in free agency or next season? I think the Suns and Mavs could do some good things. Yeah, the Jokic thing, I'm not surprised he got a max or is going to get a max, but like I said, they're kind of locked into that. But when I've been talking about all this, I didn't realize that Millsap's deal was a team option, so that changes things for sure. Who else do we have? Who else signed tonight? All right, guys. It is 3:21 a.m. If I make it to 3:30, we'll have been live for 2.5 hours. And I'm getting pretty tired. So I think we're gonna go like 9 or 10 more minutes. So whatever questions you got, hit them at me now. I'm gonna muster up 10 more minutes of energy, and we're gonna do this. When do I think Michael Porter Jr. will be healthy? I have no idea, my dude, because I've seen reports he's not going to play at all next season. I've seen reports that he's going to be ready to go right from the jump, and I have no idea how everything's going to work with him. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I've read, like I said, I've read so many different opinions that it's going to be tough, but they're definitely counting on him to improve a lot because their current roster, even if they fulfill their potential, is not a championship level roster, unless he becomes an all-star caliber player, which is a possibility, but they're definitely banking on that. Yeah, man, I'll go to bed soon. I got to wait for the coffee to wear off, but I'll go to bed soon. I got to eat some before I go to bed, though. I can't go to sleep when I'm hungry. What do I think about OKC? I think they're spending what is happening there? I think they're spending a lot of money to not make the Western Conference Finals. Like, let's say this Lakers team ends up getting, someone, Bron, Boogie, Kawhi. They're better than OKC with two of those guys. The Rockets and Warriors are already better than the Thunder, and they're spending a lot more money than they probably should be to not even make the Western Conference Finals. Some In-N-Out? Oh, that sounds so good. Joseph, I appreciate you coming out, man. I really appreciate the dono. Good night, man. Have a good night. Thoughts on the Sixers bench slowly deteriorating? Yeah, I mean, their entire bench is basically not signed anymore, unless you're counting like Justin Anderson. I guess McConnell's still there, but Ilyasova's gone, Bellinelli's gone, Redick is not a guarantee. So the Sixers are definitely in a weird kind of limbo right now, for sure. Appreciate the sub, Jerry. I'm glad you enjoyed, man. It's nice to see so many first-time viewers in here. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. The Hurricanes are kind of big around here, dog, but I'm not a huge hockey guy. No, I don't think either of those teams, Domini, I don't think either of them are going to be able to dump Deng or Joakim Noah. Those contracts are just, they're so bad. Nathan, I didn't realize anybody watched that video that you're talking about. I don't really do that kind of stuff. That video actually got copyrighted. Fun fact. I don't actually do football stuff because they don't want you to make videos on their content. I don't really know about who my Final Four will be this year, but I think the ideas that I brought up in that are really good. It's funny that you watched that. Appreciate the content. Appreciate the sub, Ninetail. Thank you, man. Josh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we're in it for the long haul this evening for sure. Longest stream I've ever done. Thoughts on Seth Curry and Wayne Ellington? What kind of deal are they going to be getting? Wayne Ellington's another guy that I think could be really interesting in terms of maybe getting the $5 to $8 million mid-level exception, depending on whether a team is a tax team or not. Can really shoot the ball. Miami probably wants him back, but they're already so expensive as it is. I don't know if it's going to happen, but he's definitely an interesting guy to keep an eye on. Appreciate it, dog, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Appreciate all the love, guys. Yeah, Nick, I'm going to keep them up. I'm going to, like I said, try and do a video or stream every day. Big night for OKC fans, man. Enjoy the celebration. Appreciate it, Josh. Thanks, man. Ellington to the Rockets. Imagine how many threes this man would make if he went to the Rockets. It's funny. Some of you guys are going back to. You guys are killing me. I'm reading the comments right now. You guys going back to my older videos. Y'all are killing me. You guys are awesome, man. Thank you so much. Wouldn't want to be up on a 3:30 live stream with any other group. You guys are awesome. Hey, good night, Bob. Appreciate you coming out. Yeah, man. I think I'm gonna call. I think I'm gonna call it a night, y'all. It's 3:26. We've been live exactly 2.5 hours. I wish I would have hopped on at midnight, but I was editing the video that went out. If you guys haven't gotten a chance, be sure to check out the video I just put out on LeBron. And I'll be trying to put out as many videos as I can on all this free agency stuff that we talked about tonight. There's gonna be a lot of content going out, and I'm looking forward to doing it. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for being on stream. We were almost at 400 viewers at one point tonight, which is almost double any other stream that I've had. And even now, at the end of the stream, 176, 180, near 200 is pretty close to the highest viewership I've ever had, and especially this late, this late in the stream. Thank you guys so much for being here. It really makes my day, makes my night to know that you guys care enough to be in these live streams and interact with each other. And you guys are so good in chat about, making it a healthy environment to talk about the NBA with. And I'm glad you guys enjoy the streams. I'm going to continue to do them moving forward, and just thank you guys for the support, for all the love. All on the road to 24K, 25 after that. Be on the lookout for some videos Monday and Tuesday. Probably not Wednesday, but for the next 2 days, I'm going to try my best. So thank you guys so much. Again, I appreciate all the love wherever you guys are watching from. Thank you guys. And I'm going to go get some sleep now. I'm going to hope the coffee wears off. I'm going to go get some sleep. But happy first day of NBA free agency, guys. Good night.